Good morning and happy Saturday to everybody. Welcome to Locked In with Eric Morton from WDWNT Live, brought to you by WDWNT, the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news. Today is Saturday, April 11th. Just like last week, I have no idea how long it's been since the parks have been open. I think they closed on March 16th. So we're closing in on nearly a month of no Disney parks. Orange County's been locked down a little bit less than that. Most of us are in Orange County. Some of us are not. Today, joining me is Eric Wolf.
Hey, guys.
Good morning, Eric.
Good morning.
Miss Allison is here.
Hi, hello.
And Cosmic Chris Reed, fresh off of his dance party last night, is joining us from the Great White North. Welcome, Chris.
How's it going? Thank you very much.
Good. And we want to thank all you guys for joining us today. It's always fun to get up on a Saturday morning with something to do. Normally, I tell you this is the day when you take your good shower and you wash behind your ears and you wash the bottom of your feet with the bar of soap and all that stuff. Didn't happen for me today. I ran into a little trouble getting breakfast ready, sliced my finger wide open, cutting a bagel exactly the way that Lee told me not to before. So I think we've stopped the bleeding, but I don't know if I'm going to keep up with regular hand washing with a soggy Band-Aid on my fingertip all the time. So I have plenty of things to think about, strategies to come up with. For today's show, we're going to start off with a recap of the week of all the content brought to you on WDWNT Live. Many of the show hosts are present, and we can get a little deeper into that. After that, we are going to do a segment on Disney snacks. We will answer some of your questions. We'll take a few commercial breaks. We'll come back, and we're going to talk about Disney cast member costumes, which ones we like, which ones we don't. Hey, look. We're live on Facebook now for those of you that are apparently my phone just told me we're live on Facebook. So all you guys just joining us on Facebook, welcome. I don't know if you missed the intro. Special shout out real quick to Tyler Mann. He opened up his logo services to everyone on staff, and I immediately got on a call with him, described my vision to him, and immediately he got excited about it, executed it to perfection. Of course, Tyler, a very talented man. We thank you very much. I really love the logo. I know everyone's curious. I want to let you know we did bring back the Butters cam this week. We will be, she's out on the patio now. Kevin, I don't know if we have the Butters cam up. There she is. Butters is chilling out. Oh, she looks a little tired this morning. Huh? She's chilling out on the patio. This is the Butters cam. This is the technology brought to you by all of our engineers at WDWNT. Took a lot of time and effort to figure out how to keep a camera on Butters at all times. She's a quick mover. It's not easy. So we want to thank her. We will check in on Butters from time to time later today as we go through the show, because she has a lot of important perspective on the things we're talking about, I'm sure. And she's keeping us safe, monitoring the outside, things like that. So without further ado, I want to kick off the show. First of all, we're just going to go through what you missed all week. If you were not watching on WDWNT Live, there's a lot of content being pushed out. And we'll start, we had the Wolf's Den this week. That was my other Eric over here, Eric Wolf.
Yeah.
And I enjoy your show. I didn't get to see all of it yet. I have it queued up to watch. I know we were doing a lot of fan casting.
We were. So we did, we fan casted a live action Peter Pan. It's always been one of the things that I enjoy doing, just talking to, my friends and stuff and being like, what if Disney did this and what if Disney did that? And I'm a big movie person, so I loved that. But then we also touched a little bit on the parks. So we talked about some keys that aren't necessarily present in the parks and what we think we should do in the parks. That was a whole lot of fun. Miss Allison was there with us that day, so that was fun as well. But yeah, we're going to be doing the Wolf Den again. We're doing that on Wednesday the 15th. So I have some other ideas, some other things that we're going to be doing. So that'll be fun.
Finally, something to look forward to on April the 15th. I'm sorry, Allison. What did you say?
The drawings were they were great. They're a little bit of a train wreck, but it was a lot of fun with we had to draw characters from memory, and we only had 2 minutes to do it. It was tough on me.
If it's not a train wreck, it's not us. So, oh, there we go. Who's that?
That's
There we
his.
go. That's
I
Baby
threw mine
Yoda.
out.
Is that Baby Yoda or Yoda?
That was Baby Yoda.
Oh,
Baby
These are
Yoda.
great.
Jack
You're
Jack.
we're way more talented than I am. I couldn't have done. Mine would have looked like terrible stick figures. Just a quick aside: we are doing this again. I notice I'm touching my face. If I touch my face, we encourage you to take a drink along with me. Today, inspired by Pete, again, I'm back on the Soronas. We picked up a fresh pack of those this week. So they are very light and refreshing and not too strong. So kind of like me, I guess. Except for the light and refreshing part. We had the Wolf's Den. We also last night, Cosmic Chris Reed hosted a Disney dance party. And Chris, why don't you tell people how this goes? Because it's not like our normal show where you just pump it out on YouTube. You were actually streaming on YouTube at the same time that you were streaming on Ntunes, right?
yeah. So it was a little bit of a collaboration with the YouTube and having chat, and then also listening at the same time to Ntunes. So I was playing a whole bunch of like high energy songs from Disney parks, remixes, a Fantasmic pre-show. We did some Aerosmith for Rock and Roller Coaster. We did Oga's Cantina music as well, and a whole bunch of others throughout the 2-hour show. And lots of YouTube chat, lots of interaction there. People requesting songs, and I was getting them on as I could. But it also gave people kind of a backstage view of how a radio show is done on Ntunes. So they saw me recording the break and then queuing it up and putting it on and then coming back to the YouTube chat. Seemed to go over well. It was a lot of fun. 2 hours went by really quick, and I will probably end up doing it again sometime. I don't know if it was a one-off or not, but it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
And for those of you that are not familiar, and I really wasn't until recently and did some little research, Chris is an accomplished DJ. He's got a lot of credits within Disney parks. We talked about it a couple weeks ago that, you could hear Chris's voice in Animal Kingdom and in Dino Land. And then Chris is an accomplished drop DJ. I don't know what a drop DJ is, but I know they're really cool and they're really in.
Yeah.
So do you want to explain to me what that means when someone says a drop DJ?
Yeah, so the DJ drops are basically like the little parts that are voiced. So it's like, you're listening to DJ whatever on whatever station or whatever party you're at right now. So it's the little voice clips. So and that's what
so
I've
it's
done.
not a new thing. It's not a new thing that's hit with the kids. I was just totally ignorant to what a DJ drop was all along. Okay.
Yeah. So it's just it's voicing stuff. Yeah. So that's what I've done throughout the parks. Yeah.
I thought it was like, drop the bass or something from the 90s. Yeah, I don't know.
I wish. Yeah. Yeah, they call them drops because they little sound clips and they drop them in the songs. Yeah.
Okay. We also had Colleen's Crafting Corner yesterday, and Allison, I know you participated in that. This is our second show of Colleen's Crafting Corner. Last week, she made homemade Mickey Minnie ears, and this week they were doing scrapbook pages, right? So how'd that go, Allison?
It was good. I got a scrapbook like over 2 years ago and gathered a whole bunch of stuff to make a scrapbook of one of my vacations, and I just never did it. So I was very excited to actually finally do a scrapbook, and I have the page that I did on the show.
Yeah, please share it with us.
Ooh.
Oh, that's great.
It's I made a scrapbook page of the first year that I became an annual pass holder.
Oh,
I love that.
So
that's really good.
Awesome. That's cool.
That's cool. Yeah, Colleen is super crafty, super talented, and I know people enjoy her show because she knows what she's doing. She's built maybe the best puppet theater in North America that we use on WDW News Tonight. Bob Chapek's office puppet theater. That's a great one. So tune in. Be sure. I know that we're going to probably keep doing the Colleen's Crafting Corner as well.
I think next week they might do puppets, because that was one of the things that we were talking about, how she makes the sock puppets. So I think that might be what she's doing next week.
That'd be great.
Yes.
That'd be great. Also, we had a Back to the Future this week of the Carousel of Progress. Back to the Future, for those who don't know, is a kind of a deep dive of people who are experts on some of these classic Disney attractions. They go back through the history of them, and I actually learned a lot about. I didn't participate because while I'm a huge fan of the Carousel of Progress, while I have performed the Carousel of Progress live in front of you all on YouTube and Facebook and Periscope and all this, I didn't know all the history of this attraction. So it was good to really get in there. And Tom had some really great historical documentation. There were great perspectives from a lot of people on the Carousel of Progress. Allison, are these things that you knew all about going in, or did you learn some from this as well?
I mean, every time, even though you feel like you're an expert on some kind of Disney thing, you're always learning more. I knew a really good chunk of what they were talking about while they were on the show, but there are a couple of things I'm like, oh, I did not know that. Like, there's certain concept art that I had never seen. I didn't know too much about the. I knew about some of the different scene changes over the years, but I didn't know about all of the scene changes that they've done over the years.
Right.
So I definitely learned some, but yeah, it was a nice one. I really enjoyed being on that show.
Yeah, that was really cool. I want to go back. It starts at like 9 o'clock Eastern time usually. The Back to the Futures and with News Tonight that running that week, I knew I was going to be up until after midnight. I watched for about an hour, and then I just couldn't keep my eyes open anymore. Not because the content was not exciting, just because I'm an early to bed type of person. So that was great. Again, we recommend you go back and check that out if you can.
Yeah.
We had
I have to check
another
that out
highlight of the
too.
week. Yeah, it's great. It's great. Party with Pete. Party with Pete went down on Thursday. As always, good time. Pete Carney, who will be joining us in the second hour of today's show. Party with Pete was a great time. He managed to score top shelf guest in Yeehaw Bob Jackson. And that was really great. Bob, I've seen Bob performing during this lockdown period. He's been doing some regular shows and I know I was contributing to the virtual tip jar, just like a lot of people, because we want to keep Bob going in this time, and he's such a talented and important part of Walt Disney World. But what was cool was Pete actually did some interviewing of him and maybe gave people insight into things that they didn't know about Bob. He talked about his personal life and places he's lived and places he's traveled. Then he performed some songs for us, and it was really great. So I don't want to steal Pete's thunder, but he's got something pretty big coming up. If you're into current pop culture, Pete has something pretty big coming up on Party with Pete, it looks like. So I'm not going to spoil it for him. He can talk about it later today if he wants to, but Party with Pete, always a good time. The other part of Party with Pete, and actually Eric, Allison, and myself were all part of this, was we were discussing places that if you were to be quarantined by yourself at a Disney resort, where would you want to be? And it turned out pretty great. It was good to get the creative wheels spinning and come up with some locations on the fly. Well, it was on the fly for me. Because I didn't prepare for that show, but I kind of logged in briefly during my lunch break and happened to pop in during that segment. So we talked about that.
Segment.
Myself. I had said I wanted to be either. You had a choice. There was one if you're just locked in by yourself, and one is you're locked in, but there's some cast members that keep everything operating. So I think I was going to be at New Orleans Square at Disneyland if I were by myself, because I had the Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean and Club 33 and Blue Bayou and the Dream Suite to sleep in. And then I think I said Adventureland if I had it fully operating at the Magic Kingdom. Again, I had a Skip a Canteen and a Club 33. I could sleep in a Swiss Family Robinson treehouse, ride the Jungle Cruise or ride Pirates of the Caribbean. So, Eric, I know you had chosen Main Street USA, which was a great idea.
Such a good choice.
Main Street USA was great. And then you also chose Pixar Pier, which would be another great choice. The much maligned Pixar Pier. Tom Corliss would be quick to point out that all you have to do is change out some decals. He can make it something else Pier, but I'm glad that was your happy place.
Hey. But as of right
Allison,
now, I'll take it.
Allison, I believe you were you going to be in Asia at the Animal Kingdom? Was that your first one? And your second location was, I don't remember.
America and Japan.
You were going to be America and Japan. Yeah, you wanted to hoard all of the restaurants.
Yeah, I wanted to originally. I said World Showcase, and Pete's like, no, not World Showcase. That doesn't count as a land. But then I saw it in the chat as I was scrolling around. All of the viewers were like, World Showcase counts as a land, and I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. I got America and Japan. Those are good ones.
Yeah. No, those were great. That was actually a lot of fun. More fun than it probably should be to just make up stuff and talk about it on the internet. But this is where we are as a society right now. You know, we're amusing ourselves with hypotheticals and imagining ourselves in faraway places. I thought about it last night, and that thought really hit me. Is like all my favorite places I've ever been in the world, whether it's over in Norway or whether it's in Mexico or New York. All of those places are shut down right now. If I had a magic power that I could transport to anywhere in the world, wherever I went, everything would be closed. It's like, that's crazy to think about. It's crazy times that we're living in. And I'm glad that we have this outlet for you guys. And I want to maybe add that segment a little later. We could talk about silver linings. What are the silver linings you're taking out of this? Because it's easy to get depressed and think about things like that, and we might go over some silver linings because there are some things that maybe some good that will come out of it, or things that have enriched maybe your family or relationships from being cooped up together. I don't know. Maybe some people it's the opposite. Ride Rehab, they've been doing the watch-alongs, which are a lot of fun, and those guys are a lot of fun. I highly recommend checking out the watch-alongs. I don't want to give Tyler too much press because I got to go to him on the next segment too, which is Cooking with Tyler, which was fantastic. And so Tyler had set up a cooking show where he was preparing the cheddar cheese ale soup from Canada, along with a steak and potato dish, and it looked delicious. I wish I had all those ingredients so I could have followed along and done. In fact, I can go get those ingredients and I can start that video over again at any time on YouTube. So I want to do that with Tyler, cook that cheddar cheese ale soup. It looks delicious. And the steak looked pretty good too. So check that out. That's great to have those cook along shows so you can go back, go shopping for your ingredients and show up and you don't have to do it live.
And it was really
Park
cool.
Center this week. Oh, go ahead.
He had it looking like a cooking show. He had 2 cameras, he had a chef coat on, a little a chef hat. It was awesome.
It's very fancy.
Yeah, great stuff.
Yeah,
great stuff. So thank you, Tyler. Tyler's been really leaning into this whole thing and helping out wherever he can and providing lots of great things. So we thank you, Tyler. Park Center was kind of back to normal this week. Instead of dissecting the brackets that we were doing on WDW News Tonight, they got to go back into what they do best. Well, I don't know, they do it all well. I don't want to disparage them. I enjoyed their dissection of our tournament, our March Madness, but it was difficult to it was difficult to have people analyze that after the fact and go, yeah, you know what, I probably screwed up. It's hard to be introspective like that, and they weren't going to let us off the hook for making bad or lazy decisions. This week they were back to regular Disney Parks news. If you haven't watched Park Center, they try to do Disney Parks news in 30 minutes. I think it has usually gone over lately, but it is what it is. There are technical things involved in these shows. It takes some time, and from time to time we will, go over. I don't think this isn't network television. We don't, time's not necessarily money here. So I think that was great. We had a big announcement was made on News Tonight this week, which is that we are going to be having the roast of Tom Corliss coming up. They've identified a number of people who know Tom well, have known Tom over the years, and are going to attempt a roast of Tom Corliss. So I think that's going to be must-see TV for everybody when we do that. And I'm sorry, I don't remember the date of the roast of Tom Corliss, but I think we have a couple weeks before 21st? That happens. Is that the 21st?
Yeah.
So I know people like Allison and myself, when this was first brought up, we're like, I'm staying as far away from this as possible because we're new. I don't have the kind of like ass capital to survive offending Tom too much. I haven't been around enough. So we were like, I'm going to stay far away from this. And then on the post show, Tom's like, hey, Colleen, Eric Morton's name is on that board. Why hasn't he been invited yet? And I'm like, oh no, I'm going to have to do something. I'm going to have to create a very, very cautious roast of Tom Corliss, perhaps, if I'm still going to be involved in it. But that'll be interesting. I think that'll be probably the most watched episode. Probably the chat will be more heavily moderated that day than any day in WDWNT history.
Oh, yeah.
There'll be a lot of activity. So people feel strongly one way or the other.
Is Maria going to be on the roast?
Oh, yeah. Is Maria going to be on there?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. We should check. I don't know. Maybe Russ the Robot. Maybe Russ the Robot might participate too.
Yes.
You never know.
Oh,
Probably has things to say. Yeah.
Russ hasn't been on in a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. We had the final ever episode of the map game on Thursday night on WDW News Tonight. And that was, a game that Nick LaCicero has put a lot of his heart and soul into. A lot of people are big fans of the map game. I was kind of new to the map game. So to me, it's just like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm getting a seizure looking at this screen. And so, I'm kind of waiting to go on. I'm sitting here, not on the air, but I'm waiting for our segment, and they're doing a map game, and I'm like, I have no idea. Like, I don't know how long I'm supposed to sit here because I don't know if this thing lasts for 5 minutes before like an hour. So I was sitting there. Eventually, I was like, I'm gonna get up and stretch my legs, walk around a little bit, and finally, the map game was over. And I think they had 10. Was it 10 guests for the map game?
Yeah.
So they had
10 and then another 10, I think.
And so, so 10 of them get like 5 guesses. I'm like, okay, well, I think our segment's coming up. I need to get back and get settled and do this segment. And then when it was over, they're like, okay, we're doing the map game again. And I was like, are you serious, Clark? Yeah. But no, it was great. And it ended up being hilarious. In fact, I kind of jokingly put a donation in the super chat. By the way, the super chat, if you look at the bottom of your chat window, there's a little $sign. More than happy to accept your donations in a super chat or a super sticker. But I put a $1.99 super chat donation. I was like, here's a donation to skip the map game. And boom, people started donating. No, keep the map game. What a great fundraising idea that was, right? We had several people donating for the map. I think we made I think we got over $60 in donations on News Tonight this week. Yeah. And I don't know how much of it was just the map game and how much of it was people are like, man, I feel sorry for you guys. Here's some money. But no, it was really great. And then the reason I came back is because we do a Wigs post show. So if you're not a Wigs member, check it out. Because my segment was over, but then after the completion of the show, we hang out for another half hour to interact with Wigs members, and we do a Wigs show. We'll talk about that a little bit later because we will do an hourly Wigs plug. But the main segment of News Tonight, our discussion panel, was, excuse me, we were talking about your last meal at Disney World. Last meal, as in not what's the last thing you ate when you were there, but you get to put together a final meal, and you can have a drink, an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert from all different places to come together and form your last meal at Walt Disney World.
Sorry to interrupt. We just got a super chat.
What's it say? Go ahead and read it to me.
We got 2. We got a super chat that says, thank you for not playing the map game today. And then we got another super chat that says, save the map game.
I think I joked. I think it was on Party with Pete the other day. I had joked that we were just gonna, or no, I don't know. It might have been on Colleen's Craft Corner. I put in the chat. Someone said, "Oh, hey, Eric's here," and I donated to that show, and I said, "Oh yeah." So now locked in with Eric Morton, we're just gonna play the map game for 3 hours every week. They're like, no, or yes, depending on how they felt about the map game. Very polarizing game, the map game. Thank you for your donations, Mike and Melon and the Mouse. Is that who we have on there?
Melon and the Mouse.
So thank you guys. We appreciate it. Those donations really help a lot. We have reporters who depend on this as full-time jobs. So thank you for your donations. Anyway, so we went through these foods, and I kind of put a lot of thought into my last meal at Disney, and mine was eliminated immediately. They said, okay, we're going to vote on who had the best one. They're like, okay, there's some people only have 2 votes. Eric, you're out. So I think one problem is there's a touch on my face. Excuse me. It's the blackberry lime Serrano today or right now. Yeah. I think part of my problem was that my meal was very similar to Jill. So we both had selected an appetizer from the California Grill. We both had selected some cut of steak for two, I guess, because I'm a glutton and I want to eat a gigantic steak. And we both had a kungaloosh on there. She had the kungaloosh like ale, and I had like the off the menu order the original kungaloosh from the Adventurers Club. So maybe those ran together and we combined to get each other eliminated. I was like, how can you not think that like a 28-ounce steak would be a great last meal? But people didn't agree. People did not agree with that at all. And we had people, I think we had multiple people whose last meal was a Cobb salad.
Yeah.
I think it was two. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I didn't know salads were that popular. I didn't think of being on death row and being like, hey, why don't you scare me up a salad? It happens. Yeah. And everybody knew that Tom was going to select a bread service at non as an appetizer. So everybody had to stay away. That's like a dog peeing on the tree. That's that dog's tree, right? He's marking his territory. We knew Tom was going to pick that non-bread service, which I think all of us would agree is an amazing appetizer. And if you haven't had the non-bread service at Sanaa, I highly recommend you get it. You're welcome, Sanaa. But Tom had that, and that really, and he had the ooey gooey toffee cake, which everybody knew he was going to pick. So he had he had picked from the top of the A list, and I think a lot of us went a little more obscure for things that maybe people didn't know existed or were a little bit more niche. So did Tom win? I guess the final verdict was basically that Tom kind of won.
Yeah, I don't think the official winner was announced, but from looking at the chat, it looked like the most went to Tom, then Jessica, and then me.
Yeah. You had the Maria and Enzo's you had a Disney Springs centric lineup, didn't you?
Yeah, I did actually. I had the oysters from the boathouse. I had the pasta from Ale and Compass. I had the affogato dessert from Maria and Enzo's, and then my drink was cider and black from the Rose and Crown.
And nobody picked a pickle. Nobody wanted I actually had a couple people message me and ask me, what is the deal with the pickle thing? And they actually ran a segment. In fact, Kevin, maybe we could run that segment at the break. Do we have that as its own segment? The Jessica selecting the Casa de Fritos. We were playing for those that weren't there, we were playing Tony's Town Squares. And what Jessica's question was this thing was invented at the Casa de Fritos at Disneyland. So Jessica thought about it and said, well, it's got to be the pickle. And everyone's like, what? They invented the pickle at Disneyland? So Jessica's, in her defense, what she's saying is, when you're playing that game, you don't necessarily want to give people a correct answer. You want to throw them off a little bit. However, I think the part she missed is you don't want to give an incorrect answer that's so obviously incorrect that it sends the whole game into a meltdown mode. So anyway, that's because it's just kind of like the bee and Colleen, the bees with Colleen. Now the pickle has taken on a life of its own. And I think it's fortunately, it's going to be around for a while. And there are some pickles that you can find throughout Walt Disney World, including the pickle Christmas tree ornaments in Germany, and I think there's a couple other pickles featured throughout the property. So those are going to be like the new hidden Mickeys for WDWNT.
We definitely need a shirt or something now.
That is not the worst idea ever.
Right.
Chris, I'm sorry, you had your dance party, but you also were doing your regular Cosmic Read show this week, were you not?
Yeah, we were. And we were talking specifically about Disney park music and just kind of going over some of our favorites. We went park by park. We even went to the resorts. Some people were saying they like, more obscure stuff like Jimmy Buffett at Old Key West and that kind of stuff as well. And really thinking outside the box, as opposed to just the four parks. But it was a lot of fun on Monday night, 9:00.
Did you pick a favorite, or you just spun kind of what your favorites were? Was there a competition? We open it up in the chat, and it's so hard to pick one. I really like the Interventions music. I'm not sure if we're ever going to hear that again, but that familiar theme that's been around for years and years. That was a favorite. Grand Floridian Society Orchestra was very popular in the YouTube chat that night as well. People saying that they love listening to those guys and chatting with them after set. So.
Yeah, lots of good interaction on that one.
Also, for those that didn't know, was this the first week we played the your Grim Grinning Ghost song for the quarantine?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Grim Grinning Ghost, stay home and sanitized. Yeah, it's on YouTube now. So, we wrote that in like 10 minutes, my wife and I, one night. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
It's so good.
Yeah, check that one out, guys. That's we're by the time this is all said and done, I think we'll have a full album of stay home songs from the Disney catalog. We're working on some more, I'm sure. I
was thinking about one last night again, and I don't know what it was now, but I was thinking about one last night that there's going to be more. There's going to be someone in the chat last night said Tyler and I should collab on something.
I talked to Tyler about an idea I had for like a little bumper like coming into the show. We did the graphics instead, but it was the like Maui singing "What can I say except we're locked in," or whatever.
Yeah.
Nice.
That may still happen one day. I don't really know. So we'll do that. But that was great. So you guys could check that out. That was on News Tonight. And then is that a standalone segment they can watch on YouTube as well? Your song, Chris? Or I don't know how we have.
Yeah,
that set
up. It is now. It just got uploaded a day ago. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Maybe Kevin. Maybe we could play that during your commercial break in a little while. So I wanted to go and talk snacks. My mom always said, "Do what you're good at." I'm good at snacks. We had. We discussed we've discussed a number of things here on the show recently. I want to go into, snacks are probably my favorite thing at Disney. And I kind of want to start with snacks that are maybe now defunct or that are harder to find or less common. So there's like a few different tiers of snacks, right? There's your standard snacks you can get anywhere at Disney. There's the snacks that are specific to a location or event. So there are some snacks you can only get at the after hours events or whatever. And then there's the snacks that either are seasonal, that come and go, or that just you can't get anymore. So one example I like to use is my favorite snack when I used to come to Disney World when I was 18 years old. They used to have, how they have those ice cream cookie sandwiches you can get on Main Street. They're like a couple chocolate chip cookies and a couple scoops of vanilla ice cream. They used to have one with snickerdoodle cookies, and the ice cream was slightly different. And it was across the street from where it is now. And that was something I ate literally every time I was in the parks. So I was reminded of this because Lee made a snickerdoodle like bars this week, and I was like, man, these are good with some vanilla ice cream right now. So that one thing that I miss is the snickerdoodle ice cream cookie sandwich. So put that on my list. Can you think of any that come to mind right now, Eric? You can name off the name of a snack that you can get.
That's not in the parks right now, or that's hard to find?
Yeah, or harder to find one. Maybe a seasonal.
I'm going to go with the best attraction, the Handwich.
The Handwich. Okay.
I'm going to go with the Handwich.
Yeah, the old Handwich. Are you old enough that you actually had Handwich?
No, I've never had a Handwich, but if you go to Cars Land and the Cozy Cone, it's essentially the same thing. They have different type of things. And, sorry for interrupting. We just got a super chat. Mike says,
Mike said that.
Oh, Mike says this is for Aaron. Thank you so, Mike and Aaron.
That's for you, Aaron.
For the super chat.
Hey, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyway. Thank you very much. I want to hear more about the pseudo Handwich because I've been to the
if you go,
Cone, but I don't recall
the Cozy Cone at California Adventure in Cars Land. You can find. I'm actually gonna. I know there is. What is it? There's a macaroni and cheese cone. I know that.
There's like breakfast ones too.
Now. You see, I've never had the breakfast ones. I went I want to say already during like lunchtime kind of thing around that area. So I've never had the breakfast ones, but that sounds good.
Tangent here. Have you ever had the breakfast dog at Casey's at the Magic Kingdom?
No.
I don't know how often they actually have that. The only time I've had one was when I went to watch somebody run in a Princess Half Marathon. So it's like still dark out and they're serving breakfast there at Casey's. As a spectator, you could go and my friend's wife was running and I was like, I'm hungry. And sure enough, Casey's had breakfast dogs, which they're not bad. They're not bad.
Okay. It sounds good.
Well, while you're looking that up, I'm going to keep it moving, though. While you're looking that up, we'll circle back to you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you think of anything seasonal or defunct that you miss? I guess they're all.
Yeah, I really liked it when remember when they came out with, there was like 3 different kind of special ice cream cones. Like when they first started coming out, there was like the Rapunzel one, the Up one, and I think the Hey Hey one was with that trio.
Yeah, Rapunzel, Up, and Hey Hey were all ice cream treats, I believe.
Yeah, I liked. Yeah. Was it? Am I correct? Am I incorrect? I think I'm right.
Yeah. Well, you passed the Lee test on that, so I'd say if you're incorrect, that you're still in good company.
Okay, good. I like the Hey Hey one a lot. I know that they have the red one, but I really like the Hey Hey one because I like that it was the half pineapple and half raspberry. I like that like blend together, and I really like that candy fruit strip that was over it. I like that the cone was blue. That was really neat. And that was when they kind of first started doing the kind of fun themed cones, and I really, really liked it. So that's my favorite snack that's not around anymore.
Cosmic Reed, what do you say?
So it's tricky because we seem to go during, like, we haven't really gone to many hard ticket events, just the timing and such. So in terms of like defunct snacks, I'm not sure, but one that I find is hard to find, and it's a really basic thing, and the only reason it's hard to find is because they just don't have a lot of them at once. But a tradition kind of for the last 10 years is we always take one last loop around World Showcase in Epcot, and we stop in Germany. And again, this is so simple, and maybe I like it just because it's become a tradition, but it's the caramel covered, chocolate covered strawberry. And like, right, super simple, but in World Showcase, walking around like that, it's just it's a nice little treat to end the night as you're walking out of World Showcase and then back to the bus or whatever the case may be. But it's just hard to find because they only seem to have maybe like 10 at a time, and people like them, they grab them and then they're out. So they're rare in the sense of it might be hard to find them. You might have to make a couple stops before you actually get your hands on one. But that's kind of the
that
one
sounds
that
like something where people would also tell you to, hey, pick some of these up for me and bring them home with you.
Right? Yeah, because it's kind
of like zebra domes. Like people are like, hey, you're going to Disney? Can you have some zebra domes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Eric, did you find what you're looking for?
I did. So they have 3 different ones. They have chili con queso, they have bacon mac and cheese, and they have barbecue pulled pork cones. Yeah. So
but they don't call it a sandwich. They call it like a cozy cone sandwich or something like that.
Yeah, it's a cone. Yep. But essentially, same thing.
Yeah, that's good. One that I read about that my mouth watered while I read the description that's only at the ticketed villains after Disney's Villains After Hours is the Gaston's 5 dozen egg slush. And it says it thankfully does not contain 60 eggs, but it's made of frozen custard with brown sugar and topped with whipped cream and a cinnamon stick. And it was pretty much universally praised. I think Tom wrote that. No, Jessica wrote it about the 5 dozen eggs, but oh boy, let me see. Jessica had said. It's not a tub of raw eggs. A slushy comprised of frozen custard, brown sugar, topped with whipped cream, and garnished with a cinnamon stick. $5.99. But it looks amazing. I'm sure it's delicious. Everything I've read about it says it's amazing. I just don't know if it's amazing enough for me to buy a special ticket to that event when I have an annual pass. It's tough to. We do it every now and then for maybe the Halloween party, but over $100 for like an extra 4 hours in the park with a special parade. I don't know, but maybe for the 5 dozen eggs select one day. what I mentioned for my dessert when we were having the thing on News Tonight the other day was the salted caramel bubble waffle at Aristocrapes at Disney Springs, which is probably my favorite.
Oh yeah.
Never been there.
That's a good one. No, it's you know where Aristocrapes is? It's right off of the bridge, like kind of across from the Rainforest Cafe, but like right at the edge of the bridge. And it is salted caramel bubble waffle.
That was those two restaurants that they kind of like themed.
It's just a little booth.
Aristocrapes,
yeah,
and then they have Big Bad BB Wolf.
Big Bad Wolf on the other side. Yeah, that's on the other side.
Yeah.
So it's chocolate ice cream, whipped cream, pretzel pieces, crispy candy pearls, and caramel sauce on top of this bubble waffle. And this is what it looks like. And we have killed several of these before. I don't know.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
That thing is delicious. So pick one of those up when the park's open back, or when Disney Springs open back up. I guarantee it's worth it.
Springs could open first, yeah.
I'll take anything.
Mad about
right
that.
now.
I spend more time at Disney Springs than the parks a lot of times, especially when you have guests from out of town. Like my mom doesn't want to just go to like 3 parks or 4 parks. My mom, we might do a parks day when she's in town, and then go hang out at Disney Springs, and then go do other things. She's not doesn't have the energy to want to go to all these places. When you go to the park, the challenge is you feel challenged to get your money's worth if you're from out of town.
Mm-hmm.
So people tend to go too hard and get worn out. I'm not going to do that with my mother. She's been to the parks a little bit, but I take her to Disney Springs. We can walk around at her pace and relax, and then it's easy to get home.
That's true.
Any ideas about snacks from someone said what's on the bubble? Oh, I guess I missed that. Did anybody have any favorite snacks they want to talk about in the chat? Do we have anybody?
Yeah, so we had, let's see here.
The churro from the 80s. Okay.
Churros from the 80s. Canned bacon stick.
There's a couple appetizers that are worth mentioning. The churro reminded me, have you had the savory churros at Dahlia on top of the tower at Coronado Springs? Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're savory churros. So they look like a churro, but instead of cinnamon, it has, I don't know, savory stuff. Savory, it has seasoning on it it's not sweet. But obviously I said it was savory. It's not sweet. Another thing is the fondue at the Territory Lounge at Wilderness Lodge. Ooh, that fondue. I could wipe that thing out quick. And that's why I'm fat. So.
No.
I feel you. Love it. Oh, we got the teriyaki chicken bun that Japan serves during certain festivals. Melon and the Mouse mentioned.
Teriyaki chicken bun?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
It's kind of like a bao bun. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Someone mentioned something about the free bread with dipping oil at Raglan Road. Raglan Road has a lot of legit stuff.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I love that place.
Yeah. The Scallop Forest is a great one. They also have the machine where you can put your own face into the foam of a pint of Guinness, which we've done. That's a good time.
Really?
If you totally want to waste $2 just to laugh, I highly recommend it. You can give them your picture. They'll either take your picture right there, they'll either take your picture right there, or you can airdrop a picture to them, and then they put it into some machine, and that machine, after they pour your Guinness, they put it in this machine, and it somehow makes your picture in the foam. So we sent him a funny picture of me and put it in there. It's really cool. And the foam actually stayed intact. Like as you drink it, the beer comes out from under the foam. So the foam stayed intact till we're like 3/4 of the way down. So you can still see my picture down there at the bottom. That's it's $2. It's $2 worth of entertainment.
By the time you get to the bottom. By the time you get to the bottom of it, it's talking to you. It's saying, Eric, pour another.
Yeah, by the time you get to the bottom, it looks like a real picture of you at that point. Yeah. No, Raglan Road, that's a great one. I even if you don't drink Guinness, I don't know, Allison, if they could do it on your. No. Never mind. Never mind.
On my ciders?
I was thinking you cider. I don't think they could do it on cider. I think they can only do it on Guinness. But if you got a black and tan with Guinness on, I don't know. I don't know. We'd have to talk to an expert at Rag on the Road for something like that. Ice cream flight at Ample Hills, Mike says. Sounds delicious.
Yeah.
Do we know what's going on with Ample Hills? Because they are adding a location in Disney Springs. For those that aren't local or haven't seen it, they're adding an Ample Hills right near the AMC Theater. So that would put 2 Ample Hills on property, one at the Boardwalk and one at Disney Springs. And who knows what's happening now? I hope all this stuff comes back. These are great things, and it was great to have an Ample Hills there. So I don't know, but anything in Ample Hills, you got me. I'm in.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. We got a Nutella waffle with berries from the Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, so good. I love that one. That's not even a snack. That's a meal.
I used to like that. What's it called? What's the popsicle they sell in the carts? It's called It's a Kadoozy, I think. It's like a multi-flavored,
yes, it was like
popsicle.
rainbow, right?
Yeah, it was like a rainbow. Yeah, popsicle was delicious. I like that way better than the Mickey bars. I'm sorry. You can keep the Mickey bars. I can, I like them. They're fine, but I can get that anywhere. Just maybe shaped like something else. Make my own. I guess I can get most of that anywhere else. Although I do not know how to make a bubble waffle, so I'm going to stick with my salted caramel bubble waffle, whatever it is to crepes.
It's true.
There are plenty of good treats out there. Just so you know, to kind of give you an idea where we're at, we're going to go now we're going to keep going until about 12:15. We take a break at 12:15 for commercials. I'm told there might be something special during a commercial break. I don't know. I got very sketchy information on this. There might be something special during the commercial break. We'll come back in the afternoon. Allison is going to drop off, and Chris has to go. Chris has a family event to attend to, a big birthday, a landmark birthday occasion.
Yeah.
So congratulations, by the way. Yeah, son is 1 year old. Is today the actual birthday, or is today the celebration?
Yeah, today's the actual day. Yeah.
So think about this, though. This is like technology that was imagined at Epcot has now come to life, where the whole family is going to celebrate the birthday like they did in Horizons, where they're like virtually blowing out the candles on the cake. Like that's reality now. In fact, that's the only way you can do it now. He's not even at the bottom of. You're not even living in Sea Castle or Province Centauri or wherever. But that's the way we're going to do it.
We had some family members stop by yesterday, but it was really weird because they were on the outside of the front window, and we opened the window and talking through the screens. If you feel like you're in an exhibit, honestly, it's weird. But the computer thing I can get behind. And then people are passing on the street going, what are these guys doing?
And the best part is all these people get to blow out the candles on this cake, but then all the cake is yours when you're done, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Share it. Did you get
totally?
Is it a smash cake you get for a 1 year old? Do you get that where there's one where the kid just destroys?
Oh yeah. We're gonna tape that. I want to hyperlapse that whole thing in video. Yeah, we got one for him. Actually, a friend dropped one off for us. Yeah.
Nice.
Now, has your son been to Disney World yet?
Not Disney World, but he's been to Disneyland. We went in January. Wow. Yeah, so he has experienced a little bit of the parks. Some of the face characters were really good with him. The Queen from Snow White was awesome with him. Cinderella was really good with him. Snow White, and he seemed to like them as well. I mean, he fell asleep in Pirates of the Caribbean. I will say he fell asleep, and the drop and everything. He fell asleep, and then we went to Oga's Cantina, and I thought, oh, this is going to be terrible. Well, we got a booth somehow by miracle, and so we're sitting down, and he falls asleep in Olga's Cantina with all the music and all the sounds and all the craziness. He fell asleep in that too, so he did pretty good at Disneyland.
Well, he has a DJ for a dad, so I guess he's used to it. It was good. He really liked the Nemo submarines as well, because like the bubbles that came up on the porthole window, he was like pounding on the glass at that. Yeah, and the dark rides, he was probably just confused.
Yeah, I mean, you probably won't remember it, but That's great. I know the first time I went to Disneyland, I was 2. And according to my family legend, the entire drive from Anaheim to Lawrence, Kansas, kind of a long haul, they had 2-year-old me saying, "Why didn't the dog want the bone? Why didn't the dog want the bone? Why didn't the dog want the bone?" That has led to the opening graphic now of Locked In with Eric Morton. So come full circle now. And I have that's my artwork behind me. That's my favorite piece. Is the
that is really
jail.
nice. I was gonna say. Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
But I was going to say the first time I went to Oga's here in Florida, we didn't have a reservation, and you don't have any control over where they seat you when you get in there, right? When it's your time, you just go in, you're happy to be in there. So there's 2 of us, and they put us in one of those booths along the wall. And all these people were getting up and leaving at that time, and then they come in, they go, "Okay, this is perfect. They're leaving. We're going to put you here, and we have a party of 9 joining you."
Oh, wow.
Party of 9. But there's going to be a bunch of drunk college kids that are hooting and hollering. What am I in for? It was grandma, grandpa, mom, and dad, and 5 kids under the age of 5.
Oh,
and I was like, oh, the server has to be hating this because these kids aren't buying, $17 cocktails or whatever. Actually, they were super well behaved. They got all the coolest drinks that were bubbling and foaming and all the non-alcoholic stuff there. And it actually turned out to be a good thing. But boy, when somebody walks with a party of 9 and 5 of them are kids under 5, you're like, oh my God. But it turned out great. It turned out great. It's always interesting going to the cantina there. So.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah. So I didn't mean to diverge off the path too far about the birthday party, but it sounds like it's going to be a good time for you and your family.
It'll be fun
for your son. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
People are asking for a Butters Cam update. I haven't heard anything from the patio. I don't know if Butters is around right now. There we go. There's Butters. Butters on a. She's just taking a nap. Are we waking? Is she laying on her back? Is she sitting? She's looking into the sun. I can tell that because her eyes are squinting. There's the Butters Cam. She doesn't have a. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now she has an attendant to help out so she can get us some expressions. Mommy's helping out there, I think. So Butters, how we doing out there? We're burglar free again. We're about to enter the second hour and no burglars yet. So again, she's doing great work. Look at that fur, by the way. We usually keep her very, very well groomed. She probably gets groomed like once a month, or the hair gets out of control and she gets really hot. So we could try to monitor her temperature, but I don't think that the dog groomer is an essential business right now. So she has to deal with it just like us. We did give her a bath yesterday, which was quite exciting. She's actually really well behaved in the bath. So you can't see it, but I promise you she smells good, even if she probably smells like human shampoo. But it's hard to keep up with brushing her right now. Look at her. Gosh, she's so fluffy. I almost don't recognize her. If you go to her Instagram, there are pictures where she's a lot where her hair is a lot shorter, but I think she likes it like that. She seems happy. I think like all pets, she's loving this stay at home order. Can't think of a dog. I mean, the cats are probably pissed off, but the dogs are all over this. Let me look at my outline. All right, it is the top of the hour. This is when we talk about, just to remind you guys about WIGS. WIGS is the WDWNT Interglobe Society. This is our Patreon group where you can help fund all the activities that you like here on WDWNT. This gives you access to post shows, in-person live events, exclusive content. There's a lot of content that's being uploaded. I don't know if you guys are WIGS members and you want to talk about it in the chat. There's a lot of these old school Disney documents that Jason has been uploading for the WIGS members to review, old documents and drawings and pictures and things like that. We really appreciate it. Go to patreon.com/WDWNT to become a member for as little as $2 a month. All this additional content can be yours. It's patreon.com/WDWNT. And who knows, you might get to trick or treat and have Tony from Tony's Town Square put spaghetti in your purse or in your candy bag or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. In addition, you've seen we've had some people make some donations to the super chat, which we greatly appreciate. If you click on a $ in the chat window below, you will have an opportunity to select either a super chat where you can donate a predetermined amount of money and put a message to us in there, or you can pick a sticker and have a super chat sticker. We had joked that if we had a pickle sticker in the super chat window last week on Thursday at WDW News Tonight, we probably could have raised about $1,000 in pickle stickers. But at any rate, we'd love it if you join the Wigs. Let them know. Let us know what more we can do for you guys to give you that content you want. If you join the Wigs, a recent member, we'd love for you to tell people in the chat whether or not you're getting your value. And same thing with Super Chat. We'd love to get some Super Chat donations today during the show. Coming up in the second hour, we're going to have Pete Carney will be joining us somewhere after 12:15. We are going to have maybe a little short special event. We'll be taking questions from social media. We want to talk about cast member costumes or uniforms, the good ones and the bad ones, because I can think of some jobs at Disney I might turn down just because of what I would have to wear every day.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. You guys. So we got all that and more coming up. We want to spend a few more minutes though talking about snacks, things to eat in the parks, and you guys are welcome to tell us your favorite.
Yeah, we got some Wig members in the chat saying, the Wigs is amazing. It's very worth it. We got Wigs is worth it by James. Paul also mentioning. Mike was mentioning the high-res scans are awesome that Jason's been putting out, and Paul agreed with him. He said that Horizons printout. He was flipping when he saw that, so we appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, I want to see that for sure. The Horizons printout. I'm a Horizons guy, and not to plug another site, but I know that Retro Disney World podcast, they did 3 episodes about Horizons last year, and then recently they did I don't know if it's 4K, but a super high quality version of a Horizons ride through that's totally worth watching. If you remember that ride the way I do and have such fond memories, it's great to see. Pour one out for Horizons. It's still just a fan favorite, and people miss it a lot.
Oh, actually, really quick, Melon and the Mouse just they said that they just joined beginning of these park closings, so not that long ago, and they say it's more than worth it. So if you guys aren't already, like Eric said, just $2 a month is the minimum, and that's honestly great for all the content that you guys get.
Hi.
Yeah, and we do stay on.
Little one.
What's that?
There's a baby.
We got a special guest here for a second.
Oh, look at this! Someone's 1 year old today.
Yeah. Who's that?
Hey.
Birthday.
Oh,
Wow,
he's happy.
He looks like a DJ already.
Yeah. He's got to get some headphones on him. Yeah. This is William. Yeah. There you go, buddy.
Hi,
Hello.
William. Hello.
Hey.
That's
he's just going to chill for a few minutes. Yeah.
I'm going to get to destroy a cake with it. I just noticed, Chris, over your left shoulder, you have one of the hitchhiking ghosts.
I do. Yeah. I got the Big Fig Gus. And so we put that out at Halloween in the front.
He has the ball and chain, right?
Yep. He's got it right.
I have the same one, but he's got a broken hand.
Oh, yeah. This thumb, I had to put a piece back on together, but yeah, it's they're pretty fragile, but they're awesome. I want to get the other two. They're just hard to find.
I have one. I need to clean it. I think I stored it in a garage for several years, and he's just got kind of a layer of grime on him. I'd love to, steam clean it or something. I don't know.
Adds character.
Who knows? Yeah, and who knows what I'm ever going to do with it? But I do have one. Oh, you're right, Will. You're right.
Yeah.
No, that's great. Is that the only one of them that you have? Because that's the only one that I have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So far, I'd like to get the set, but they're hard to come by.
That'd be great.
They're hard to find.
Hard to come by. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all right. He's doing great. He's doing great.
Yeah. Just wiggling around.
What about? I guess he doesn't have any input on our snacks discussion.
What's your favorite snack? What do you say? What do you say? What's your favorite snack? Tell him your favorite snack. What did you like? He doesn't really talk, so I mean, I'm not surprised.
He doesn't. Gotcha.
Hey. Now he just sees a bunch of faces on the screen and he's like, "What is this?"
Yeah. I've been there myself.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, when I was looking back at Tony's Town Square, that was a lot of people.
Yeah, it was.
What's that? Tony's Town Square?
Yeah, that was like 9 people on screen.
Yeah, we went full Brady, but even Maria was there. You should check it out. Do you know her?
Oh yeah, so I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess that's why they said I couldn't get on. The slots were already full.
Pickles. Who knew it was going to be such an iconic moment? Yeah, like Allison has it down. Pickles. Poor Jessica. Tom's reaction when she did that was just totally priceless.
Yeah, oh my gosh, yeah.
He left. He just walked away. He couldn't handle it.
He just walked away. That was so
Stood
good.
up, walked away, and then he came back. He said, "You're saying the pickle was invented at Disneyland?"
And I love how much Jessica tried not to laugh.
I think Kevin's gonna play that video in a few minutes when we go to break. But you could see like everybody gives these reactions when she says it, and I'm just stone faced at first because they're like, "Hey, people are gonna try to like, if you want to throw out some kind of oddball answer to throw people off, feel free." So I didn't want to give away that she had given like that. I didn't want to give it away and start laughing at her. I didn't want to throw the game out of bounds. But at the same time, I'm just sitting there stone faced, like, am I missing something here? Is there some iconic pickle that I don't know about? Does Jessica is this such a deep cut that she knows about this and I don't? Like, I don't really know. Finally, let me know. By the way, that game of Tony's Town Square, I was the last person selected, and so the winner was actually someone who had chosen me, and I gave one of the only correct answers of the night. So yay for me! I got to do something. I got to do something that night. You never know, kids. Believe in your dreams. You too can be on a YouTube show at midnight and give a correct answer.
A square.
Yeah, you could be a square.
I'll try again.
It actually took me a long time in my life before I got to be a square. So. That's great. Wait. Shorn Force says next Tony's Town Square, Will, Snow, Butters, Maria, Space Bee, Pickle, Runaway Railway, Mickey, Cardboard Robot, Gordo, and Tom. That would take a lot of wrangling.
Yeah.
Take a lot of wrangling. I do think that we should bring back the Runaway Railway Mickey more because I think that was hilarious.
Yes.
It might be lost on people who haven't ridden the ride yet and see the animation style, but I thought it was hilarious. Potentially. Voiced by Allison, who's our resident Mickey Mouse voiceover artist. I don't want to spoil the illusion for all of you guys that still believe in WDWNT magic out there, but that's actually not Mickey Mouse. It's really Allison pretending to be Mickey Mouse.
It's like those people saying that like me and Maria are the same person. I'm like, what are you guys talking about?
There are some similarities.
I guess there's a resemblance.
Are there really?
I don't really see it. Yeah, well, you both wear glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Same glasses.
That's true.
I get it, but I mean, it's like when people said that Superman and Clark Kent were the same person. You're like, come on, he's wearing totally different clothes.
No.
Yeah, it's obviously
Maria wears a magic band. You're not wearing a magic band, are you?
I don't wear magic bands, no. Okay.
Yeah. No, the only people that wear magic bands 24/7 are Maria and Tom Corliss.
Yeah, like
maybe Tom is Maria.
Yeah, maybe he is. But no, because Tom wears a fancier magic band than Maria. Tom goes straight for the Dooney and Burke magic band. Like, I don't think Maria's old money like that.
Have you seen Maria's bag?
I like the rest is. No,
Maria's bag looks like she got it like at Goodwill or something like that.
Maybe a Goodwill bag. Yeah.
It's like the Mary Poppins bag.
I guess
almost.
we'll never know. We can ask her on the next show. Yeah, that'd be cool if she just opened up her bag and just kept pulling out, like,
a lamp.
A lamp and an umbrella and a coat hanger or hat hanger, whatever you call it. You got all that stuff from Maria. All right. We're going to go ahead and take a break here in a second. We'd like to thank you for joining us on Locked In with Eric Morton. Allison and Chris are going to dip out here. I know they have things they need to do today, including a 1-year-old's birthday and maybe get some work done. So we thank you guys for joining us. As always, you guys are great. And we look forward to seeing you again, hopefully next week. Who knows what we're going to be doing next week on this show. In the meantime, we hope to be joined by Pete Carney, and Kevin might even join us in one of the corners here for the final, for the next segment of the show. But right now, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Thank you. You're watching Locked In with Eric Morton on WDWNT.
Bye, Allison.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
With the success of Pizza Rizzo and the Regal Eagle Smokehouse, we here at Walt Disney Imagineering have learned that our guests love bad counter service food with minimal Muppets theming. So, here comes more Muppet eateries at Disney parks. Yay! At Disney's Hollywood Studios, grab a wrapped sausage at Rolf's Roasters. Rolf has relocated to the edge of the galaxy to pick up piano-playing gigs at Oga's, but the money hasn't been great, so Rolf the dog has started slinging dogs at Blackspire Outpost's hottest new wiener joint. If you're visiting Epcot in 2022, get ready for a lightly rethemed dining experience that somehow took us 2 years to complete. It's Dr. Teeth and the Electric Umbrella! Can you just picture that? Imagine eating a dry flatbread to saying goodbye while you sit there and think about all of your favorite things we've ripped out of this park. Are you excited? Well, we won't take no for an answer. Then, head on over to Disney Springs for a trio of Muppets eateries. Grab some barbecue at the Miss Polite Piggy, some affordable chicken tenders from Chicken Gonzo's, and stop by the West Side for Pepe by Pepe. And no, not Jose Andres.
Come have a sandwich, okay?
And at Disney's Animal Kingdom, our most popular concept is getting a second home. Be sure to visit Pizzafari after we finish converting it into Pizza Rizzo 2.
They're tourists. They don't know good pizza.
The Muppets. We won't do anything new with them, but let's plaster their images in the background of restaurants.
Hello, I'm Michael Eisner, former chairman and chief executive officer of the Walt Disney Company.
And I'm Mickey Mouse, former mascot of the Walt Disney Company.
Former?
Well, I'm furloughed, pal.
Anyway, when I heard of the park closures due to the COVID-19 pandemic, I was concerned for my buddy, Mickey. But after getting a panic call from Donald, I learned that it was worse than I could ever imagine. As it turns out, hundreds of Disney animatronics and characters, face and fur alike, have fallen on desperate times.
You see, folks, everyone in the Magic Kingdom is starving. There isn't a churro to be found. It's awful. Rapunzel has sold her hair to Universal Studios' wig department and is scheduled to host a pay-what-you-can Facebook Live How to Survive Quarantine tutorial.
How about that, folks? Sad. Just sad.
Even Pinocchio has been lying non-stop in an effort to make his nose keep growing back.
Keep growing back.
Yeah, he keeps hacking it off each time and selling it to the lumberyard as scrap wood.
That's too bad.
And it gets even worse. The It's a Small World dolls have started a mutiny. I was told that Gus has lost 20 pounds in just 3 days. The redhead has turned back to her old ways for rum money, and last I heard, Peter Pan has been forced to get a job as a travel agent at, I guess I'll have to grow up vacations. I even heard that Snow White is considering auctioning off the dwarves, one at a time.
And that's not all, folks. Even our fan favorite, right here, the Maestro himself, has been hit hard by this unprecedented turn of events. Tell the nice people at home what you're doing now, Mick.
Oh, gee, I don't know, Michael.
It's okay. Go ahead. Tell them. Now that you're out of work due to the recent park closures, you're...
the newest member of the Chuck E. Cheese's band, since they're open for takeout.
And...
oh, Michael...
tell them your stage name.
You said I didn't have to.
Come on, pal. It's for a good cause. If your fans want to come cheer you on.
You can find me performing at strip malls across America under the stage name...
go on.
Ranch Dressing Ray.
You see, folks at home, it's right here. This right here is why we need your donation now more than ever, before this spreads to Epcot and beyond.
Luckily, they don't have many animatronics left.
Please, dig deep into your pockets and sponsor a cast member today. Our lovely volunteers are waiting by the phones to accept your generous and impactful donations. Thank you. And remember, there's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, or something along that line. Come on, Mickey. Here's some Topps trading cards. Now let's go watch some BoJack Horseman.
High and you start to shake. Going out is a big mistake. Right now we can't immunize. Distancing is socialized. Grim grinning, go stay home and sanitize. Now to stay inside and quarantine. Keep your household nice and clean. Watch Disney Plus or exercise. Distancing is socialized. Grim grinning, go stay home and sanitize. If you would like to be virus-free, there's a simple rule that's compulsory. Wash your hands just like me. Get your soap all bubbly. Soon again we'll enjoy your company.
Wash your hands. Wash your hands.
My fourth Disney trip of 2020 was canceled, and my one-woman authorized travel agency isn't getting any business with this closure. Help me, Ganondola.
Was your 500th in a lifetime Disney vacation canceled? Are you being selfish during a world crisis and want restitution for your losses as a travel agent? Call 1-777-777-7777 for the law offices of Ganondola.
Hello, I'm Bud G. Gunn.
And I'm Roz Dola.
How dare the Walt Disney Company cancel your dream vacation? We say you make them pay for it.
We'll fight for you until you get a complimentary stay inside the Cinderella Castle Suite, because your trip cancellation is more important than anyone else's.
We may all be practicing social distancing, but why don't you try some money closening?
We'll even get you some extra fast passes.
It's going to be so busy when the parks reopen that you're going to need them.
Do you even believe what you're saying anymore?
Nope.
Ganondola also handle wrongful termination cases for CEOs appointed just before a global crisis, where the former CEO knew it was coming. Call 1-777-777-7777 for you to get the justice you don't actually need right now.
Oh, we're on? Sorry, I had to run to the garage to do something. I was gone for a few minutes. I apologize. Pretty unprofessional of me to not be here when we came back from the break. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing good. The show seems to be running great. I seem to have things pretty well under control. Let's cut out to the Butters cam real quick and check on Butters. She's been monitoring the neighborhood. We have her available. Do we have that? There's the Butters cam. Hey, it looks like she's just been chilling out. She hasn't moved the whole time we've been here, has she?
Butters.
What a good girl. What a good girl. All right. Yeah, she's been doing great. So, it's important we keep her out there in the patio during the show so she doesn't bark too much and cause too much trouble in here. Happy she's taking care of things. And now at this time, we would like to welcome Mr. Pete Carney to the show. Hello, Pete.
Hey, Vaco. Hello, everyone. It's nice to be here.
Oh,
some weird
sorry,
audio.
guys.
You have
We got a super chat from Melon and the Mouse. $5 for Butters.
Oh,
Nice.
Butters, big fundraiser. Wow, just cutting to Butters cam every now and then makes it
right. Just makes it
a huge difference. Can you hear me better now?
Butters, yeah, I hear you better now, and I don't think I hear that chatter in the background. I don't know if we were getting the YouTube echo or what, but it sounds great.
Okay, cool.
Sound good to everybody else?
I hope so.
Chat.
Hi, everybody.
That's
What's
good.
up, chat? I see you. I see you, Short Force, and Carl, and Mike, and Mandy, and Michael, and Melon the Mouse, and James, and DZ Studios, and David. Yeah, and very cool, Melon the Mouse. $5 for Butters. That's awesome. What's up? How you guys doing today?
good, man.
I'm doing great.
Locked up.
I watched a little bit
I
this
cut
morning.
my finger.
Oh yeah, listen to that.
Yeah, it was a good one too. Laid open
I saw
a
your
little
video,
bit.
Serona. They're still sold out by me, so
Yeah.
I'm still on the White Claw train.
I'm not gonna get too specific geographically, but if you find yourself in Windermere, there is a Publix that has them.
Okay, excellent. I know which one you're talking about. The one by your house, right? Over
Yeah.
there? Yeah.
That's me. So at last I knew,
Wait, so how do
Buddy
you cut
Serona,
yourself?
still no paper products. I was cutting a bagel with like a serrated knife, and I was doing it exactly the way that Lee tells me not to do it whenever she sees me cutting a bagel. You know me, I'm like, I was in the Marine Corps. I know how to work a knife. What are you talking about? The pointing end goes towards the enemy, right? No, I got myself. So it bled pretty good. It bled pretty good, but we power through. I didn't get to take the good shower today, as we talk about. I had to take the normal, splash shower, I guess you could call it. We talked about Party with Pete. You said you watched a little bit of the show earlier before you joined us?
Yeah, a little bit. Hold on, I have to turn this fan on because it is so hot in here. I'm back. Yeah, just a little bit. We had I'll tell you on the next break. But we had a little bit
Hold on. Short Force asked if the bagel was still edible. Yes, it was, because I knew I cut myself before it actually opened up and started bleeding. I felt that, and I just immediately turned around to the sink and started running underwater before it even started bleeding. I looked back, and there's just a knife halfway in the bagel, kind of like the sword in the stone. And it just sat there for like 15 minutes while I got the bleeding to stop and tried to patch it up as best I could. Then I was like, you know what? I'm still hungry and I have to start a show in 15 minutes. So I better nut up and get this done. So don't worry about it. We took care of it. And then Lee got home from her run in time to really properly bandage me up a little bit. But I don't know how hand washing is going to go. For
bagel with a little extra marinara. That's fine.
That's fine. Yeah, this is kind of gross. My first job when I was a teenager was at a place called Rax Roast Beef. RAX. I don't know if you had Rax Roast Beef where you grew up. It was like Arby's, right? I think they got bought up by Arby's. It was like Arby's. It was like Arby's with a super bar, right? Anyway, it was like they sold sliced roast beef sandwiches. I wasn't old enough to run the meat slicer, so I didn't make the sandwiches, but I could make the subs. So they started selling these subs, and boom, I cut my hand on a sub sandwich. When I was making a sub sandwich, I'm bleeding all over the sandwich, all over everything else. I run to a sink to, somebody gets the first aid kit, blah, 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 blah. And I get back to my station and the sandwich is gone. I'm like, did someone serve this sandwich to someone or not? Now, it turns out they played a trick on me. I don't think anybody ended up eating that sandwich. They just hid it from me and acted like they had served someone a sandwich covered in my blood. But that's a little gross. Probably not appropriate for this show. I apologize.
Eric's just waiting.
I want to hear it, Eric. Did you have something?
He doesn't want to hear it. He didn't want to hear the story.
Wait, what happened?
We're done. We're done talking about this story.
Eric has a strict rule. Any story involving Rack's roast beef, he has to tune out.
Rack's roast beef. I don't think I can get in trouble anymore. They don't exist anymore, so we're good to go. We're good to go. Boy, I'm touching my face a lot. I'm scratching my face.
Disney Therapy says I don't think you should be around knives anymore.
Yeah, we should just have you stick to the eating, not the preparation. That's what I've done.
Yeah. So you watched some of the first hour, Pete? Did I?
Just a little bit. Yeah, I had to tune out. Like I said, we had a little bit of a situation. I'll tell you later on. But but I got a little bit of it. But whatever I missed, I could just jump in.
We had a party with Pete discussion about you getting Yeehaw Bob. I don't even know how you went about getting Yeehaw Bob. I think the way I imagine this is that you just email anybody who you think would be amazing, and you're just like, I'll throw it out there, and if they want to be on the show, they will. And boom, you aim for you landed a pretty big Disney star.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did. If there's a good side to this or a silver lining, it's people are sitting at home also quarantined. So whether you're a big star or you're, a regular guy or gal, you're sitting at home. So, what I do is I try to find what email gets them the best. And then if I don't hear back from that, I will take other means and methods and just reference that email and say, hey, just reaching out again. I wrote an email. Sorry if it didn't find your way to you, but here, and then I give a little bit of an intro about myself, about the show, and about WDWNT, and then see what happens, like you said, and whatever happens. So, I'm a little persistent until I get an answer. I'd rather just get a no than not get an answer at all. Mm-hmm. So I'll wait a few days. I mean, I don't stalk the person. I kind of look at it as like with my own rules. Like I might not see an email for like 48 hours sometimes, or like especially like. I have 9 email accounts, so like I don't get to all of them all the time. But like if every 3 or 4 days, if I don't hear an answer, I'll just be like, hey, just checking in, or I'll try a different means of communication. A lot of people have a Facebook account, an Instagram account, a LinkedIn or whatever it is. So I don't do them all at once. I'll choose what is the best first. I'll wait a few days and I'll go method 2. I'll wait a few days, go method 3. But as far as how Bob goes, also, some people reach out to me. I should say that too. Like next week's guest, we were lucky enough where someone said, hey, this person wants to be on the show, which is nice. But yeah, Bob was awesome. He wrote me back like a day and a half after I wrote him the original email. And he was super cool. It's weird because like he's like too easygoing, where I was like, are you sure you are on board? Because he'd be like, yep, no problem. I'm like, okay, well, what time slot do you want? And he's like, whatever you want. And I'm like, well, what works best for you? I know you're waking up early, singing in the morning with your vocal cords and everything else. You want to be the last hour of the show, the first hour of the show? Whatever you think. And I'm like, okay, what do you want to talk about? Is anything off limits? Do you want to know the questions ahead of time? Do you not want to know the questions ahead of time? And he's just like, anything goes. I'm like, what percentage do you want to sing? What percentage do you want to talk? I try to accommodate the guests the best I can and give as much background where they're comfortable coming in and there's no surprises for them. And he was just so laid back. I mean, Piano Rob the week before was like that too. And then, the day before, he's like, oh, just so you know, I'm not doing anything for that entire 3-hour block. If you want me on the show the entire time, I was like, sure.
Wow.
And then, so that's why I was like, oh, here's the format of the show. I'm like, we won't do the piano the entire time. I'll kind of still do the normal show if you want to just like be on and hang out with us. And then we'll do you to close the show. And he's like, perfect. So he was super awesome too. I mean, I've been very lucky with some of the guests and how open they are. So I'm hoping to keep that streak going. Piano Rob, by the way, I will say, is coming back the last week
that's
of
great.
it. He's going to come back for a full show again. We're going to do more singing, more hanging out, more talking about Disney property. He's super cool. We've spoken a few more times since that show aired. So
sweet.
That's great. He was great. And Yeehaw Bob, of course, was great. I just got a text and it said, you touched your face, Butters gets a treat. What is that all about?
What?
Does Butters have cell phone access?
No. Someone texted me, one of my friends, and said, if you touch your face, Butters gets a treat. I don't know where that came from. Do I have to stick to that rule?
Don't you take a drink?
Hold on a second. If we have the Butters cam up, I will take out a treat to the patio if you guys want to talk amongst yourselves for a second.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
We're going live to Butters. Eric is on the move. I'm assuming, based on the layout of his apartment, he is in the kitchen grabbing that treat right now. Now we're looking at Butters.
What kind of treat is it going to be, do you think?
Oh, I don't know. I'm going to assume not too big. We don't want Butters choking, but maybe big enough to get. Oh, I think Butters sees the treat in range. Butters is taking off.
Right there.
There's
the hand. There's the treat.
Eric bringing him back. Yes, Butters so confused. Butters,
wish we had a visual on that treat.
Does not like eating on camera. I am not a big eating on camera person myself. I'm with you, Butters.
I just eat.
All right, I don't know what that's about, or I don't know what that's about. Where
back.
She gets a treat every time.
And we're back.
I'm sorry, I had to go out there and take care of some business there. Apparently, there's a new rule that in addition to taking a drink whenever I touch my face, I got to take a treat to Butters. This will cure this pretty fast.
What?
You're going to get kind of tired of getting up and walking out there. Cheers.
That is Ecto Cooler. You were right. Let's see.
That's such a weird thing.
I just want to touch your face now.
Yeah, I know. You just want to touch your face so you can have a drink? Or so Butters can get a treat. I think
I'm allowed to put my forehead, right?
I don't know. I don't know the rules.
Okay.
So do you have anything teed up for us, like a random fact for today, or do we need to give you a
Oh my gosh, I always forget that you like to cut to me with the random facts.
Well, take your time, because I can right now. I want to just point out some stuff. This last week, the Disney came out with Cinderella stuff online, like on the website, and
yes,
Lee bought like all of it. Not all of it. She's missing like an ornament or something.
Why is Eric losing it? Why is Eric losing his mind? Is all I want to know.
All I pictured was Eric saying, "I'm just gonna point out some things," and I thought he was gonna turn around and just start pointing at things.
Here you go. There's the thing.
Do you want to see my favorite poster?
There's a new castle she got. So if people like castles, I don't like castles, but if people like castles, that's cool. There's a new puzzle. There's a new journal. I don't know, Cinderella stuff. So if you're into Cinderella, apparently a bunch of that stuff came out last week. And since we are a Disney Parks news source, I thought maybe I should point it out what some of that stuff looks like. If you want to see it up close, I'll be happy to pull it all down and get up close. But I know people are into the Cinderella merch, and so a bunch of it came out, and now it's starting to arrive. In addition to that, I'm not a Funko Pop guy, but I have a couple. And the Indiana Jones, a couple weeks ago, they're like, "Hey, there's a gold Indiana Jones one." I was like, "Okay, I'll buy one." They're kind of cool looking. I like Indiana Jones. I didn't read the description, so I thought, it seems more expensive than other Funko Pops. Maybe it's because of special edition. I don't know. I ordered it. It arrived yesterday. Look at this thing. It's like a foot tall. It's like 4 times the size, 5 times the size of a regular Funko Pop.
Giant.
So now I have this giant Indiana Jones. I have nowhere to put it in my place. So I guess he's just going to sit in the background today. And then, I don't know, I have to find a spot in the garage for it or something like that. So, it's hard to get into this merch collect. It's hard to be like a miniature Tom Corliss and start collecting things when you know nothing about them. So I think Tom knew about this stuff before he started collecting it, which is probably the route I would recommend for you people at home.
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry, Pete. I interrupted you to point out merchandise and give you a moment.
No, I like it. No, I was just looking at the chat and having a good time there. All right, so random fact. All right, so I did a lot of good ones. Did I ever do the Mariachi Cobra one?
No.
So do you know that Mariachi Cobra is, I'm not sure if it's the oldest act, but one of the longest running acts in Disney history. That it not only started in the 80s at Epcot, it started actually on the West Coast in Disneyland. Mariachi Cobra was playing at Disneyland first. And then when Epcot became a thought, and they were going to have this Mexican pavilion, they were like, what kind of entertainment can we have? And they said, hey, can we steal Mariachi Cobra from the West Coast and bring them to the East Coast? So they brought them in, and they have been playing at Epcot since opening day. So not only are they as old as Epcot, they're actually older than Epcot themselves. Fun fact.
Someone asked
obviously
in the
the
chat.
performers have been changed over time, but I think they keep within the family and friends. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder
Anyway,
if it's
sorry.
like sons and cousins and stuff. Someone asked for a close up of the castle, so I got the castle down. I don't know how to turn it on. Oh, it's on the back. There's a switch on the back. So this is the blue castle, like from the movie, and then it lights up. And what else is it? The doors close, I think. Yeah, you can close the doors. And I don't know. I think by the time all's said and done, I'll have a zip line across the living room set up, and we'll get a little Tinkerbell figure to slide along and do our own nighttime spectacular or something. So anyway, this thing is available now on, where is it? Just Disney. What is it, Lee? ShopDisney.com. You can get it. They're like, I don't know, $100 or something like that. But they're pretty cool. It's different. It probably looks better. Tom would probably prefer this to the new pink castle that they're painting. This is the blue. This is more like the Cinderella castle in the movie. So anyway, that's out there. ShopDisney.com. I'll leave the lights on, and maybe it will enhance my background today. I don't know.
Cool.
Oh, great backlighting. You know what's sad about Mariachi Cobra, now that I'm thinking about it, is that they were bringing back Coco for a limited time, March through June 1st, and the parks might not open until after June 1st. So literally the story of Coco, which they did such a beautiful job retelling Mariachi Cobra, just is living in the abyss.
That's actually hard to see that show, though, because it's not, they don't have a stage. So they just standing on like level ground with you. And then boom, if there's two or three, there'd be a couple of rows of people and you can't see anything. And that's normally not a problem because you can still kind of see the performers, but because they have like marionettes of Miguel and stuff like lower to the ground, it's actually pretty hard to see. Someone asked, or Lee wanted me to show the puzzle as well. So there's a 1,000-piece puzzle that I'm sure we will be assembling soon, depending on how desperate times get during this. And then I'll show the journal and then we can talk about something else. Hold on a second.
Locked in with Eric Morton, featuring all the Cinderella Castle merchandise you can bear. Let's see the journal.
Yeah. So, and then there's a journal. The journal's pretty cool. So it has a little metal thing on it. I don't know. This isn't the stuff I'm into. But if you want a journal, they're like $25 on the Shop Disney. Anyway, that's our.
I think it's the same one that Anne Frank used.
Cinderella merchandise. Yeah, it is. I just haven't cracked the seal on it to see what's written in it. A little seal around it. And Frank wrote in here, we don't want to, expose all of these valuable pages to things like sunlight where they could degrade. So let me put that.
You're gonna have to do what I did in the 8th grade and read the Cliff Notes. Let the story.
All right, so there's where we are with all the new Cinderella merchandise. I actually thank you, Lee, for having that stuff for us to show off. It's something for people to look at, and some people really like Cinderella. So hopefully it gave you some ideas of stuff you can buy while you're shut in and spend some of your money on lockdown.
Yay, Lee! Eric, you're frozen. Come back to life. Eric.
Oh, Eric Wolf. Man, you got to be
frozen.
Specific around here.
Sorry, the wolf is frozen.
The wolf is frozen. Maybe he'll log back in a second and join us. Pete, on the first segment, we were talking a little bit about snacks. Kind of what are some of your favorite snacks around the property? And then I kind of touched on some of the snacks that are either no longer there or that are seasonal or that are more rare snacks. But we end up at Disney Springs fattening ourselves up on a salted caramel bubble waffle, which is pretty much me every Saturday night. So I don't know if you had anything you wanted to add to that conversation before we move on, but I'm sure you have some good insight into the best snacks.
It's so hard because I really tried, before I moved to Orlando, in the last 8 years, or at least more specifically the last 5, I'd say, giving up things and just never having them again. So I wouldn't be tempted. I never had soda or French fries or, desserts, candy. I just stopped eating them from I don't know, like I said, probably 2016. on, and then now and then moving to Orlando and then going to the Disney parks a lot. I'm like, oh well, it's Disney, so I'll try this. But really, I'm at Disney a lot, so I can't use that excuse. Like when I was on vacation, it'd be one thing, but now I live here a lot, so like now I've started having more snacks again. Now like I like fries. I haven't gotten back on the soda train, and then
now you're watching movies and eating snacks now.
Yeah, so it's been brutal. But in terms of Disney, I will say my return is it's gone now, but they brought it back for a festival, maybe a year or 2 years ago. But like the Handwich.
Oh yeah, we talked about the Handwich.
Yeah, the Handwich it was awesome and incredible.
So Eric Wolf said they have like a facsimile of a Handwich at Disney California Adventure that is at the Cozy Cone. They have like a Cozy Cone that is essentially a Handwich, just called whatever, filled with pulled pork or filled with whatever. So it sounds like that would be pretty good. I think the only time I ate in Cars Land was over at Flo's, so I don't know if I've eaten at the Cozy Cone, but sounds delicious. I'll have to check it out.
They're good.
Yeah, for sure. That sounds good. I didn't know that.
Yeah, at least they're good.
Snacks. I mean, I'm just a big popcorn guy at Disney. Like there's something about Disney popcorn and snacking on popcorn. When you say when you're there, like, the cast members, you're on stage or off stage. I really feel like when I'm like, I am on stage, I'm always watching something, whether I'm people watching a show, a parade. I love to take in Disney while I'm there. So I'm a popcorn guy. Like even when I go to the movies, so it's really funny. Everyone knows I've never seen any movie, but since I moved here, I joined the AMC movie club. So I've tried to see like a movie at least once a week, every week that I've moved down here. It hasn't been every week, but I've seen like an average of 4 movies, 3 or 4 movies every month since September, October, November, December, January. But again, when I'm at the movies, I'm eating popcorn. I love popcorn. That's like my favorite snack.
In the parks, do you do the popcorn bucket? Do you buy the buckets?
So it depends. I do sometimes. So my rule of popcorn buckets is if it's more than me, or if like I have friends or family in town, I'll do that because of like the $2 refill, and everyone's like kind of putting their hand in the bucket. It sounds gross now with the whole COVID thing, but like, like you share the bucket. Everyone's having popcorn, grabbing some, eating it, and with the $2 refills, you can just constantly fill them up. If it's just like me or just me and Lauren, I don't like lugging the popcorn bucket around. So like, there's the 2 of us, and I'm craving popcorn, I'll just buy the disposable one. But the popcorn buckets, I say, if it's more than me and Lauren, I'm getting the popcorn bucket. Or if I'm with anyone who has a stroller, that way I can clip it onto their stroller. Yeah, and I don't have to carry it. It's really just carrying stuff around. I like to have my hands free. So yeah, I'm with you.
We have a couple over my like left shoulder. There's up here. There's that red it's that way. Okay. Red Mickey balloon. It's like the balloon thing, and then I have next to it, just out of the frame, is the alien, one of those aliens from Toy Story. So we have some of those. I don't collect them, but Lee likes to get them every now and then, and I get it. It's a good value too if you're going to be with a group of people who are all going to be eating popcorn.
It's a nice snack, especially with kids too. Like for what else at Disney is going to be $2 for constant refills, and it's good for like I think like a week or 2 weeks or whatever it is. It says your vacation at Disney, so I try to make that stretch for 2 weeks at least. But yeah, if you're with kids or
really, I didn't know. I just thought if I show up with a popcorn bucket, they'll fill it up for $2. I didn't know there was a.
No, that's why if you notice, some of them are seasonal. Like you might be able to get away with the red Mickey one, but like that green one that's on its side, I see above your head. Like I have 2 of those. So I had one that has like Halloween characters on it. Then I had one around Christmas that had all the Christmas characters on it. So they kind of know it's out of season. What do you got on there? You can't hear me. You can stick your headset off. So let me take this time to say, you are so handsome, Eric. So handsome. Yeah. Anyway.
We're going to have trouble with that one because it says Happy Holidays on it.
So that's exactly what I was saying. You want to know something else I never knew that I found out a few months ago? At ESPN, Wild World of Sports, have you ever been over to the complex?
Yeah.
So you know how they do the tap beer?
My company actually installed the Wi-Fi at Wide World of Sports. So
I have a bone to pick with you. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. No, but they have those like it's almost kind of opaque-ish, but like the ESPN Wide World of Sports like draft beer cups, and they're collectibles. Yeah, you get them, you get like $2 or $3 off. But apparently there's like 14 different colors because I've tried to go back with my cup because it's you save money on beers, and they're like, no, it's not purple cups today. We're looking for yellow. So the next day I went back and I had a backpack on, so I brought my green, my purple, and my yellow, and they're like, today we're doing red cups. I'm like, come on. So apparently there's like, and I was talking to the guy, yeah, you have to, it's the cup of the day. You have to just kind of get lucky, or you just have to buy the souvenir cup every single time you go.
That place, you want to talk about running a solid hustle. Wide World of Sports. So like we had friends come down and, you know, everybody knows like every week there's a different quote national championship for cheerleading or dance or
I was going to say there's dance,
half the people
cheer,
half the kids you see half the kids you see in the parks are wearing like a jacket that says national champs because I don't know. Anyway, so they bring these kids down and they were putting them up. Our friend's daughter was on a cheerleading squad. They put him up, and I think it's 4 to a room. They put him in the All-Stars, and they charge them like $800 a piece, and they buy like a 4-day park hopper. It comes with it. But they're only there for 2 days. So they have a 4-day park hopper. They can't use 2 of the days for it, but they're required to buy it as part of their package. And then you go to visit, or you want to go watch it, and it was like $40 per person to go in there and watch them do this, do the cheer and everything. And then the beers, I mean, you know, apparently you can't recycle the beer cups for a slight discount. I mean, that place is definitely a money.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. That was one of the best decisions they made.
Yeah, it's not a terrible idea. I remember reading several years ago they were going to build out near there. I think it was across the street. They're going to build like the largest bowling alley in the world, and that never happened.
What?
Let's see. Yeah, they're going to build like a super bowling alley. I don't know if it's going to be the largest in the world, but it's going to be like a gigantic bowling alley, and it was going to host national competitions. And I don't know. Sorry, Butters had something going on out there. Yeah, they were going to they were going to have a giant bowling alley, and I don't know why they didn't build it, you know, but I'm guessing because they could put their money somewhere else and make more money doing it. That's the only reason I can think of.
Top Golf. If they were going to do anything, like Top Golf here in Orlando is always full. It's always jumping, and it is crazy. Like you look at the prices. I went there with my brother, and I was like, "Oh, this isn't that bad." Like it's $50 for what? I think like a half an hour, but you divide that among all the people you're with. Yeah. So or an hour or whatever it is. So like if you go with like 4 people or whatever, you're like, "Oh, it's like $12.50 an hour." That's not terrible. If there's 4 people in your group, but then you don't factor in like food and beverage, and then they like have extra. And you keep adding on. You're like, "Oh, we're in the middle of a game. We'll do another half hour. We'll do another hour. We'll do another hour." We ended up spending. It was 3 of us, me, my brother, and his girlfriend. And it was like we were there for 2 hours. We spent like $300, and I was like, Disney has the land to do this. They already have golf courses. Why not have like a driving range that's fun and interactive? You can put the Mickeys out there. You can do all this other stuff. Like they would make a killing, and it's not that big of an investment at all. It's really just a land investment, which they already own the land.
I think Top Golf. I've been involved, or I have been going to Top Golf since it kind of first was a thing. Top Golf is a partner somehow financially with Callaway Golf. They also in Orlando, so there's a Top Golf in Orlando, but also in Orlando is a Drive Shack out east by Lake Nona, and that's owned by TaylorMade Golf, right? So there's a lot of these like golf facilities. Tiger Woods is coming up with one that's a concept like that, but it's putting. I forget what it's called, but the first one's going to be down in South Florida. It's going to be the same type of thing, though. You're doing a lot of putting games, but you have luxury pricing for food and beverage, some kind of atmosphere like that. I think that would be good at Disney. I believe I read that it cost about $100 million to build a Top Golf facility. I don't know if that counts buying the real estate or not, but I also feel
maybe
like
real estate and technology, because I'm sure the tech build out is
the tech build out is significant. But I'm concerned. I think, and I'm a golfer. I think. Well, I used to be a golfer until this year, basically. But I think it's kind of a fad, though. I don't think it has staying power. I don't think Top Golf is going to. I don't think Top Golf is going to be. People are going to be beating down the doors for the next, 15 years. But it would make more sense to have one near or on Disney property than the ones that we have, which are kind of scattered throughout Orlando. And
well, I was going to say, I think the reason
more for locals.
The Top Golfs do well and where they are is, and this is really smart, is they're scouting locations. So like you want Top Golfs to be places, and again, like I don't mean to discriminate. I'm doing the stereotypes for a reason, because stereotypes are stereotypes. But like they have one here, literally like right next to convention center. So you have all these people who are going to conventions here in Orlando, they're looking for something to do at night when they get out. You know, they're in the convention from 7 or 8 in the morning till 5 or 6 at night. You go to dinner, you want to go do something at night. And again, I used to travel for work all the time. I was always looking for something to do between 6 and 10 p.m. wherever I was. So having it that close to a convention center. Also, they're in a lot of places like Vegas or Atlantic City where, like, what I like to call, like, you're already looking for stuff to do at night too before, like, going out, or where I go, like, bachelor party areas, because they're fun to do for bachelor parties.
The one in Vegas is right there. The one in Vegas is right there, easily accessible, right kind of behind the signature MGM Grand Towers. It's right there. I mean, it's a short. I wouldn't recommend making that walk, but it's a short walk from everything. Probably a $2 Uber ride, but that's a great location. Orlando.
What I'm thinking of is
Topgolf's in a good location. I don't know about Drive Shack. Drive Shack is way out there.
Drive Shack's way out there, although I think that area is going to be built up because they have that whole boxy park plaza.
Oh yeah,
which is really cool. That's awesome over there. I love Park Pizza over there. What I was going to say is I think Disney, the reason it would work for Disney and that in staying power is you're still looking for something to do when the parks close. And I think a lot of people don't realize that, or your non-park days or rainy days when you're here and you didn't bring ponchos, you don't want to go through the parks, is that's covered. And even if you did the whole first story is like families only, and then let's say the second and third can be adults, which you could do with Disney, you can have on that first story like really short holes where the kids can whack it and have fun, but dad can still get up and drive if he's a big golfer, where it's fun for the whole family. And you can have interactive kid games, you know, among the Topgolf thing. I don't know how this became a Topgolf conversation, but now I'm really into it. But I think the first story with families and everything else would really work. And then to have like a second story that's mixed, and then a third story that says adults only or something like that, where you can have, you know, people drinking and having a good time, where you can kind of have that separation. And let's say that was open, even if it was open just the afternoons from like 4 till midnight. Like that would crush for rainy days after the parks are closed and non-park days. I think they would do so well. And again, they own the land.
Can you imagine being on like the third deck of Topgolf, hitting balls at like 9 o'clock at night with fireworks in the background? My guess is because because Arnold Palmer operates several golf courses on Disney property, and they have 3 miniature golf courses, that they probably thought that would damage the business of those. I don't know, but I'm just throwing it out there. It might be one of those things.
It is, but those are, again, I mean, not mini golf because they have the lights, but the golf, none of them are lighted courses, I believe, at Disney. Yeah. So, I mean, like, again, for me is anything that adds, I mean, you have to look at this like, for me, like I'm looking at it economically too, is that Disney wants to pull money in your pocket all day long in as many different ways as possible for as many different revenue streams. Is that if families stop spending money at 9 p.m. when the fireworks go off at every park and the parks close at 8 or 9 p.m., you want them to keep spending from 9 until they go to sleep. So whether that's having food delivered to your rooms like the pizza, Disney Springs, the boardwalk, I mean, but again, a lot of those aren't family friendly. I mean, having food delivered to your room is fine. So if you had more activities for the whole family, I mean, like this, I think this would be fun. This would be a destination. You can do so much with the tech. If something happens, things can, I don't know. It's an idea I thought about a while ago.
I don't know about more stuff. You know, obviously Disney doesn't own their own technology, so they would have to, you know, have Topgolf want to be a tenant there. Basically, Topgolf, they'd have to have Topgolf want to build a facility.
I think they could build that out.
Maybe I'm sure that it was discussed. Topgolf built a facility in Orlando. I have to think at one point they said, "Why don't we float this by Disney and see what they would charge us to put our facility on Disney property?" They had to have done that.
Yeah.
And either Disney didn't want it, or the price was too steep.
I think they're genius is putting it across from that convention center, because that when a convention lets out, that place, there's not an open spot available all night long on convention nights, which means they were raking in thousands of dollars per half hour.
And there's lots of Universal people nearby. You know, they're very close.
I mean, it's sandwiched literally between Universal and Disney. So, I mean, location-wise, even if that convention center wasn't there, I think they're, like you said, what are they? Like, that's like 4 miles from Universal and maybe 6 miles from Disney. So,
and right by where the Epic Universe is going to be. Anyway, sorry for all of those of you that don't like golf.
There's our golf discussion. I like Manny wrote secret golf training facility.
We have an alien that's joining you.
The wolf is back.
Oh,
look at this! Eric made himself a popcorn snack.
Sorry, I just want to go get some popcorn.
That looks delicious. Let's see it.
I want popcorn.
I love it. You are definitely the biggest. You've got to be the biggest Pixar and Toy Story fan on staff. Is that? Well, you and Shannon's big into that too, right?
So actually, I haven't spoken to Shannon about that. Now I will.
Well, yeah. So check it out. It's on the website. Shannon writes an article that her and a friend, they watch every Pixar. I think there's 22 or 23 now. I'm not sure Pixar movies. They watch every single one of them every year. And then she has written kind of a review of each one and sort of ranked them. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure. It'd be difficult for me to rank my favorite Pixar films because you forget little bits and pieces that touch you. You know, Pixar has that habit of like touching you and when you weren't expecting it, or having something that doesn't seem to have any interest. Doesn't like there's a lot of Pixar movies I was like, I'm not really interested in that, but I hear it's good and I'll eventually see it, and I'm like, man, that was really it took me a long time to see Coco. I was just like, gotcha. I'm not really sure. I'm sure it's good, but I don't know. The same type of thing with a few of those movies where I was like, yeah, I was so excited. I wanted to see it, but I wasn't like something where I was like, marking it on my calendar. So it took me a long time to see it. It's like it was in theaters, then it wasn't, and then I had to wait till Disney Plus to see Coco. Most Pixar movies I see in the theater, which is the preferred way to see them, because I like the shorts they pair with them and all these other types of things. The Pixar shorts are usually amazing, and so many of these Pixar movies are great, but to go through and rank them, I think is really difficult, especially if you get into all the Toy Story ones, because all of them have these connected but slightly different themes. These sort of things that they kind of blur the lines between all of them and make they had to kind of do that to try to make it all one kind of cohesive story. The Toy Story movies are all great, but some of them are better than others. And they, the movies that speak to me might not be the movies that speak to someone else. So while Up might be my favorite, it might not be someone else's, and I can understand why. Can you guys hear Butters going totally crazy?
Oh no.
She's going totally crazy out there. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry, Eric, go ahead.
No, it's funny that you brought up ranking the Pixar movies, because I want to say it's known we're going to be ranking the Pixar movies coming up pretty soon. So if you guys are interested in that, it should be coming up this coming week or possibly the next week. But I know it is coming, and we are working on that. So that's going to be a fun one.
Is every Pixar movie now on Disney Plus? Because now Onward's on there. Were there any Pixar movies that were not on Disney Plus before Onward came out? I don't they should all be on there, but it'd be a good binge. Watch all the Pixar.
I think
movies.
Incredibles 2. I think Incredibles 2 is not on Disney Plus. I'm not sure. I honestly have them all like Blu-ray. So I don't necessarily watch them on Disney Plus. So I don't know what's on Disney Plus, but if I'm not mistaken,
there's a surprising amount of people that haven't seen The Incredibles that are Pixar, that are Disney fans that just had no interest in The Incredibles. I love The Incredibles, but I know several people that are like, or I saw it, it was okay, or I haven't seen it, and I think it's great.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Kevin, thank you so much. Yeah, Monday the 13th at 11 a.m. we're doing the Pixar Animation Countdown. So
okay.
That's going to be on Monday.
Who are you having on there? Who's going to be on there?
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I think I've seen almost every Pixar movie, which is incredible. What are some of the obscure ones you think I wouldn't have seen? Because I'm trying to think of one I haven't seen.
Yeah, The Good Dinosaur.
The Good Dinosaur. I started watching. I fell asleep. So maybe that one I have to finish. But beside that, what's the other obscure ones?
I don't know, because I think it's consistently ranked. I know I've seen it. I don't remember a ton about it, but it's consistently ranked as like maybe the weakest or one of the weakest Pixar movies.
I'm pulling up.
I don't know if that's fair or not, but I know.
Cars 2. Like have you seen Cars 2?
I've seen all the cars that I had.
Cars 2 count. Yeah,
Cars 2 counts.
Does
I
Planes
personally
count? No, Planes was Disney,
Planes
right?
does not count. Yes.
No, that's Disney. Yeah. Although it looks just like Cars.
The world of Cars. I personally I'm a fan of Cars 2. I am. I'll say it. A lot of people hate that movie. I understand what they were trying to do with the movie. It is very different from the first Cars movie. And I think that was, just tone and just everything about Cars 2 was great. And then especially if you booked it with Cars 3, the tone and everything about that movie is very, very much of the first one. So Cars 2 is kind of like just out there, but I like what they did with it. It's like a spy thriller, so I enjoyed it.
Before I go, we're going to go to. I'm going to go into a spiel real quick, but I got to go outside. I saw Pete touching his face a lot. I got another text. I got to go give Butters a treat. I don't know why. Hold on.
Let me just do it one more time to get it out of my way. I have an itchy something. Oh, okay, I feel better.
All right, so we'll need to cut to the Butters cam in a second. I'm going to walk out there now.
I'm going to have a conversation with Wolf. I know we put something out about this. Is Soul still coming out on time or no?
So as of right now, there is no word. At least this isn't talking now from my personal knowledge. Yeah. Soul is still dated for the original release. Bob Iger said that there was correct. Bob Iger did say that there was going to be more films that will be coming out in Disney Plus, or at least to streaming. So unfortunately, as much as I would love for them to push back Soul to have a theatrical release, I think that one, since it hasn't been moved, I feel like that might be one of those movies that might actually do it and get straight to streaming, like DreamWorks' Trolls World Tour that just, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago or something like that.
Where did that
I'm gonna give Butters her treat here because she didn't want to be on the patio anymore. But I want to turn around. Okay,
Butters.
Sit.
Wow, Butters.
There you go.
Or don't sit. Here's a treat. You know what I'm ashamed to see? So I pulled up this list of Pixar, and I have seen all of them, but I also have never finished WALL-E. I started and never finished it. So I have to finish The Good Dinosaur.
WALL-E as well, yeah.
And I have
WALL-E's one of those that has some great moments, but I don't love the movie as a whole as much as some of the others. I still think it's good. I recommend seeing it, but it's just it didn't have some of the things that stick with you. And I know
21,
for me,
22
Up is one of those.
That's not bad.
Up is one of those that an emotional movie for me. So that's a good one. Just to share a personal story, it's funny. A long time ago, people my dad was a teacher, a high school teacher, and someone said he looked like Carl Fredricksen, which is funny. He'd have more glasses, but they said he looked like Carl Fredricksen. He kind of looks like me with gray hair is what my dad looks like. And so we used to kind of joke that he was Carl Fredricksen. And some years later, then my stepmom, his wife, was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And so I just happened to be getting ready shortly after this diagnosis. I happened to be watching movies with friends, and not to be a downer, but Up came on. And the first part of Up is, about him and his wife having a terminal illness, which my stepmother's illness ended up being terminal. And I just got the biggest lump in my throat. I couldn't watch it forever. It's just one of those movies that Pixar really hit me right in the center of the heart with that one. And so that's a movie I can't shake. I love Up. Up is a fantastic movie.
It won an Oscar too, didn't it? Win an Oscar?
A lot lot of these did. I don't have
probably for something. I don't know.
I mean like Up. I think Up was the Up Oscar. Hold on. I think Up won like a major one. That's like best animated. It won. Oh yeah, so it won best animated feature, but it was the only Pixar movie that was nominated for best picture at the Oscars.
There we go.
An animated movie was nominated for best picture. Like, you know, that's the creme de la creme.
Yeah, Beauty and the Beast was nominated for best picture, wasn't it? I mean, that's not Pixar, but that's a Disney. Yeah, I think Beauty and the Beast was nominated for best picture in, what was that? Let's call it
93?
90. No, I think I was in high school. Sorry, I'm dating myself. I think it was probably about 90 or 91, 92. Beauty and the Beast.
Actually, yeah, 91.
Picture. And I think I lost to Silence of the Lambs or something like that beat it out.
Okay, yeah. So there's only been 3 with Disney that was nominated for Best Picture: Beauty and the Beast in '91, Up in 2009, and Toy Story 3 in 2010. Were the
Toy Story
3 the only 3 animated films that were ever nominated for Best Picture ever at the Oscars. Which, to be honest,
that's amazing.
I like those 3. Those are a solid 3.
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast, Up, and Toy Story 3.
Yeah, those are 3 great ones. Someone asked if we had talked about Onward. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, okay, go. Oh, I was gonna say before we get off of the topic, I've been following along with Disney Plus's Pixar in Real Life. They've been doing 1 episode a month since the series started, which honestly for me sucks because I enjoy them. But yesterday's episode was actually Russell. So they have a young boy playing Russell, and he's in New York, and he's basically trying to win patches. Such a good one. Wow. I honestly think it has to be my favorite episode.
Pixar in Real Life.
It really was nice.
How many episodes are there?
Honestly, I watched the first 2 and I didn't like them, so I didn't like the first one.
I feel you.
It was just tough for me with they were in like Central Park or something, and they were doing the emotions from Inside Out. And I was just like, it's a cute concept. I would have done more with it. I don't know. I don't know. As someone who also worked in New York City. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Good.
I don't know. You're good.
No, as someone that worked in New York City.
Like you see a lot of these things filming and I don't know, the potential I could have had, or things that are staged to look like they're live, and that just didn't feel natural to me. That first Pixar in Real Life, and as the debuting episode, I just was a little disappointed with the emotions thing. But I'll go back and give it a try because I think that is a really cool concept to have somebody dressed as Russell going around New York City. So I'll give it another shot. I'll try anything.
There's also an article that I wrote.
Oh, yeah. Let's hear about your article. I don't want to talk about Inside.
No, so when Pixar in Real Life came out, I did an article reviewing Pixar in Real Life episode 1 and Forky Ask a Question episode 1, so you guys can find that on WDWNT.com. I haven't done any more. I'll probably do one after all of them are out. According to the trailer, there's 2 episodes that are still missing. So we'll possibly get those 2, and then I'll review every single episode. But yeah,
we kind of blew past the top of the hour. I just want to stop real quick to remind everyone to check out WIGS. WIGS is the WDWNT Inner Globe Society. That's our Patreon group that you can join to get exclusive benefits, access to exclusive content, merchandise, post shows, things like that. It's as little as $2 a month. We recommend you go patreon.com/WDWNT. It's great value, like $2 a month. Please check it out. That's how we can support people when there's no news to report on, where we're trying our best to produce things to keep people entertained. But we want to keep our full-time staff employed as well. In addition to that, we have the YouTube Super Chat. You go to the $ at the bottom of the chat window. You can donate amounts. You can do a Super Chat is a donation where you get to say something that is highlighted and everyone can read. We will thank you for that. And then you can also do super stickers. So Super Chat and super stickers available on YouTube. We also invite you to subscribe, subscribe, thumbs up the video. That actually really helps. And then when you subscribe, if you click the bell, you actually then have to, I don't know why YouTube does it like this, but after you click the bell, then you actually have to go kind of scroll down and click all notifications. That way we know, anytime we're broadcasting, you'll get a notification. Right now we're broadcasting a lot, so you might get a lot of notifications, but when things get back to normal, we probably won't be doing, 2 live shows a day, but those notifications help, especially when Tom is doing a News Today segment, which are usually about 15 minutes long. And then of course News Tonight, which is, 3+ hours long every Thursday night. So go ahead and subscribe, share, thumbs up, and donate in a Super Chat or join WIGS. Thank you very much. Let's continue with our discussion. Who did I cut off? You? Oh, go ahead, Pete.
Go, Pete.
Oh, I was going to say, like, because I'm just looking at this Pixar list and, like, I don't know, I like to analyze things like this. Pete Docter, what a friggin' beast. Dude, first of all, I love Pete Docter. Yeah, show it.
Pete
So
Docter!
sick. And he's apparently a really nice guy. Everyone I've talked to that knows him, has interacted with him, has emailed back and forth with him, says he's super nice. But listen to this resume, right? Comes out of the gate with Monsters, Inc. Arguably one of the best movies, you know, starting that franchise. So beloved. Yeah. Then he comes back and does Up. Gets nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. Everyone loves Up. Then he's like, all right, let me take some time. The gun does Inside Out. Everyone loved Inside Out. People still talk about it. Unbelievable. Then he's debuting Soul. So, like, I feel like I have to see Soul. It needs a theatrical debut. If not, I'll be happy if it's on Disney Plus to watch it. But I'm excited. And I didn't know this, but Tina Fey is one of the writers. She's one of the screenwriters, Tina Fey. So I love Tina Fey's work. I'm excited about that. And also,
yeah, Tina Fey's going to be in the movie.
That's awesome. Jonas Rivera, first time producing was Up, then comes back and does Inside Out. Obviously, you see the theme here with Pete Docter, but then also just did Toy Story 4, which, you know, everyone loved Toy Story 4. Wow. Some people, their resumes, like if you just hit home run after home run after home run, it's incredible. Like, come on, fail once or twice.
Say that again?
Setting the ball.
I said it kind of makes you feel like a slacker, doesn't it?
Oh my God! Like just to have like home run, like it's just unbelievable.
But that was the reason why, like when Lasseter left, and they were thinking about someone to take over. You know, Pete Docter was the perfect person to do it. So now he's head. Yeah. You know, he's head of Pixar Animation, which is amazing. And I'm looking forward to see what they do from now on.
I have a niece, very intelligent, was a National Merit finalist, went on a full ride scholarship to engineering school. But her dream, I was like in high school, I go, what do you want to be when you grow up? You know, I'm thinking she'd be anything because she's super smart and everything. I want to be head of story. I want to be head of story at Pixar. I want to be head of story at Pixar. So Pete Docter, if you're watching, hit me up. My niece wants to be a head of story one day. She's an accomplished engineer at this point, but would be happy to shift gears, I'm sure.
Hit me up. I'm not that talented, but I would just like to talk to you.
Yeah, I can do a voice. I'll do a voice. John Lasseter, by the way, that was a discussion that you had with Yeehaw Bob on Thursday, Pete, was John Lasseter has attended multiple Yeehaw Bob shows and is super into it. Like he's almost like he's a Yeehaw Bob groupie. He was like, what,
dude,
sitting in the front row and put on the stage?
Once you go to a Yeehaw Bob show, you want to take your friends and family back because it's so much fun for everyone. Whether you're participating or you're just one of those people that sit back, you can't help but have a smile on your face. Like if you don't smile during a Yeehaw Bob show, you're pronounced legally dead. It's just
but I don't want to stand up and get embarrassed. So I don't like this. I wouldn't want to sit up front with my foot on the stage.
Well, then you don't have to do that though. But you can sit back and watch everyone else.
But I don't want to be. I don't want to be the guy hopping around the room crazy. But I also don't want to be the guy who's sitting there with a gruff look on his face, not doing that. So it puts me in that weird state of limbo.
There's other ways you can participate. There's colon responses that you don't have to get up and do something, but he might say something and everyone yells something back. Like you could yell something back from your seat and have a good time. Like that's why it's something for everyone. And I think, Lasseter, whatever he was accused of or what happened or everything else, I think that he truly loves that Disney fun. I mean, you could tell like from the people that talk to him and the way he's interviewed and that he worked at Disney and that he was a skipper and everything else. He likes to have a good time. Like he is all about that Disney fun and feeling like that feeling of being a kid again. And I feel like you get that at Yeehaw Bob. Everyone should totally do it. I'm making the staff all go when this opens up. I talked to Miss Allison about it. If you haven't gone, like we have to go because it's so much fun. Tom would go too. Tom's a Yeehaw Bob fan.
Nice.
Who's not a Yeehaw Bob fan? I get it. Where some may not be in the mood for Yeehaw Bob, or maybe a little bit of Yeehaw Bob goes a long way. But who doesn't love the kind of energy that he brings to his shows and the happiness and all that kind of stuff? I mean, it's rare that you find someone. There's Pete Carneys and Yeehaw Bobs in the world out there that are like sources of energy for everybody out there.
He's a
better
whole
world
different
for
animal.
you guys. Yeah, it's possible, but same kind of thing.
He's
Different name. Santa Carousel Progress. Someone asked us about Onward. I saw Onward. I did not see it in the theaters. I saw it on Disney Plus. And, you know, Eric, I know you've seen it like 4 times.
I saw it 5. Yeah, I've seen it 5 times now. 5
times in the theater or 4 times in theater?
So I saw it 3 times in theaters. When it came out on Disney Plus, I saw it with my roommates to take notes for the live stream. And then when we saw it on the live stream.
Yeah, it's I like it. I think it's good. I think I think that one could end up getting lost in a shuffle because, unfortunately, because of kind of the theatrical release was cut short. Obviously, everybody in the world put their life on pause. I saw it. I liked it. I thought it was good. But I think some of those movies are better when you see them in the theater. Some of those Pixar movies are better when you see them in the theater than when you're sitting at home. So I liked it. It's worth a watch. If you have Disney Plus, obviously it's an hour and a half on Disney Plus. It's not too big of a commitment, and it's good.
Yeah.
It has some good themes to it. It's when he kind of puts it's one of those Pixar movies where somebody puts something together towards the end to figure out what everything's all about. It's good. So what did you think, Pete? Did you see Onward?
Yeah, I saw it in theaters. I also agree with you that I think that movies are always better in theaters. You're just less distracted. I feel like at home, if you're on your couch, like someone can walk into the room, you can get up and go to the fridge. Like in a movie theater, you're locked in and you pick up on subtleties that I don't think you catch all the time at home. So yeah, I saw it in theaters and I saw it again. So I've seen it twice. I was a fan. Yeah, you know what it took, and I think Ben had a great point that in the beginning, while I watched the first half an hour of it, I was like, all right, come on, get to the point. Like I wanted the story to move a little bit faster. And then I feel like as soon as they started their road trip, I mean, if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert or whatever, but their journey, that's when I kind of really started really fully into the movie, like really getting involved, and I wanted to know what would happen next and how that relationship happened and the kind of the trials and tribulations along the way, and then culminating to the finish where obviously I'm like welling up with tears in the eyes at the end, and especially as an older brother, and like we didn't lose a father, but like having parents go through a separation and divorce and stuff like that, like being an older brother to a younger brother, like that hit an emotional chord with me. So I really liked it. I'm a fan. I'm also a fan person, so like I like the movie a lot, but like it's kind of like when I go to Broadway in New York City, like I love going to plays, but I'm much more of a musical guy. So like I loved Coco because there was this musical vibe in the background and like makes you feel good and you want to listen to the soundtrack and whatnot. But for a non-soundtrack kind of movie, a non-musical Pixar film, I thought it was very good.
Yeah, I'm the same way. A good song goes a long way, but it was, I thought it was great. There was the meme going around that the guy from, what's his name, Ian or Bartley? I don't remember which one is which. Which
Ian's the smaller one.
He's Ian. Right, he looks like Remy and Linguini had a baby.
Yeah,
he looks like.
And did you see the other one? It says like once you see it, you can't unsee it. There's one of the characters looks like John Krasinski. Like, hold on, I'm gonna Google it because if you do John Krasinski Onward,
probably the dad.
It might be the dad. John Krasinski Onward. Yeah, Onward dad. It's like 10-hour jokes that are so honest. Like once you see it, you can't unsee it. Hold on, I'll pull it up for you guys. Yes, here it is.
I'll have to see it, and then
hold on, I'll do it right now for you. Let's see if I can get it. Hold on, can I make this
up a little? Oh wow, yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's like right there.
Yeah.
No, I think Onward's great. It's unfortunate that the timing for that one. Hopefully, things will be back to normal when Soul comes out. Soul looks like it's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah.
Pixar doesn't whiff a lot. Pixar doesn't whiff a lot. I felt like my problem with this was the title Onward didn't really say anything to me about what the movie was. Like Onward, and you got an old beat up van. Okay, I'm still intrigued because it's Pixar, but if it had not been Pixar, I don't know that if it would have enticed me to see the movie. And
I would agree with the title.
Yeah, the title, at least going into the movie, doesn't say much. I think after you see the movie, you kind of understand a little bit more about the title. Not only because there's like a physical like gag in the movie kind of thing, just like, oh, this is where we got this word for it. But I think just the journey of them having to move forward and move onward, even after the dad's death, and still being who they are and stuff like that. There's a lot of different tones and topics in the movie that I think embody that word. So I think that was smart on their end, but you need to like watch it after.
Yeah, because I think in the focus groups it really failed when they had 2 sons and a half father.
Yeah. It's like 2.5 men.
Yeah, exactly.
Charlie Sheen was the bottom half. You didn't know that, did you?
Yeah, he had moves.
He did. It was there was a little Weekend at Bernie's mixed with.
But I think so. But I mean, if you think about it, Onward is this like non-musical Pixar movie with an emotional message, about like things that happen in real life that you have to move on and work your way through. But very similar. The title for the movie Up doesn't tell you anything either. It just says Up.
Oh yeah,
and but another Pixar non-musical story about going through the trials and tribulations of life and going through a big emotional experience. So I mean, both of those titles kind of don't give you any information, but they have very similar styles of storytelling and what the movie's about.
Up and
well, even
Onward.
Brave.
Yeah, next week we're gonna have Out. And after that, we're going to have Sideways. There's already a Sideways, I guess.
Sideways already exists. It was a great movie about the wine country.
Yeah, so who knows what they'll come up with next.
Forward. Not drinking Merlot. Brave also made a brave choice to have their main character named Murder. I don't care what anyone says or how they spell it. It's pronounced Murder.
Pete, by the way, I did plug your show in the first hour.
Thank you.
And I did not give away your surprise, but you may have a surprise guest.
So I mean, it's not a surprise anymore. We're talking about it, but it's Pat Cressida. I have her full resume. It's on my other laptop. She's a voice actress. She actually grew up. Her father worked with Imagineering throughout her childhood, so she grew up in Disneyland, kind of like during the golden era, with a father who, she makes great comparisons to how her love of storytelling comes from her father, and that came from Disney himself and with those original Imagineers. I mean, it's super cool. So she kind of took that and ran with it. She dipped her toes in the acting scene. Then got into voice acting. That was like her true calling, and she has voiced some iconic characters across the board, but Disney-wise, she is the voice and the face of the Black Widow bride in both Haunted Mansions. She does Jessie's voice in every Toy Story attraction around the world, so whether it's Shanghai, Japan, here on the West Coast, whether it's Toy Story Mania or Woody's Roundup, a picture spot, she does Jessie's voice. She does.
No, wait. Does Jessie in Shanghai speak Chinese, or does Jessie in Shanghai speak English?
So I think both. I think
I just wonder if she's like, ni hao, y'all, or she's like, hey, how y'all doing? Yeah.
I can see that.
I will ask her on the show if she has to do other accents. I'm pretty sure they get local voice actors to do that, but I will ask her that. That's a good question. Where's my notepad?
That is a great question, because the one thing that I love about Slinky Dog Dash is the fact that Slinky himself does the Spanish narration for like the safety school.
Slinky Dog Dash. Mantenga Sala. It's so good.
So Adam Bruno Adam Bruno had a suggestion. I saw you already saw it in the chat, but Upside Down. And you think we could do a box set? We have Upside Down and Inside Out.
Upside Down and Onward, where all three of them get together for a crossover event, like a Dick Wolf crossover event, like Chicago Fire Med PD. So she's done a ton of work voice-wise. She also works for Disney in their other affiliations like ESPN. She does the NFL Draft. She does Pardon the Interruption. She's done a ton of animated stuff that's not Disney, like Dexter's Laboratory. She's been on like a ton of episodes as Dee Dee. She's done a ton of video game work. She's done the Star Wars video games. She's done video games across from Mark Hamill. So that's super cool. So she has so many stories. And then she got this rare, I don't want to give too much away, we're going to talk about it, but like this really bad, I don't know if it was a form of cancer or just another disease that was really terrible, but she lost her ability to speak. And which, as a voiceover actor, there's nothing worse that can happen. And she literally had to, and also like it messed with her face. She had to have like surgeries after surgeries, and then relearn and reteach herself how to speak, and have built herself back up. And then after going through all this and getting her career back on track, she was invited to do a TED Talk, which is a big deal, at least for me. I love TED Talks. And now she's touring the country doing motivational speeches and doing keynote speaking at events. On top of her voiceover work. So, and it was fun. We got to riff. We did some voiceover work and riffing together. So, yeah, I'm really excited. Yeah, which I'm going to try. We put a little commercial together for the show this week.
I need to just start hitting some people up and be like, "Do you want to be on my show?"
Eric, you hit me up. I'm here.
Yeah, that's true. I got to keep the A-list flowing. I do have someone who's committed to be on a show, but was unable to do it this week. Hopefully next week or the week after, I'll have someone who people in a Disney fan community may know. So hopefully that will happen. I saw we had a meeting recently, and then there are some like kind of, as if you're a Disney fan, some kind of A-list people that have talked to that are maybe interested in coming on, not on my show, no, not on a Saturday morning, but maybe on an interview with WDWNT, because if you think about it, everyone's kind of laid up. So nobody's going anywhere.
Yeah.
You don't have any meetings.
It's not a Disney person, but I've been going back and forth with Jeff Lowe from Tiger King, and I'm supposed to interview him today. I was supposed to do it last night, and then
crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. So we'll see. I'm supposed to interview him today, and then I'll probably get to air part of it, if not all of it. Part of it, most likely, just part of it. But on Party with Pete on Thursday. But yeah, that was.
Will you be dressed up? Will you be dressed up as a Tiger King interviewing him?
Oh God, I really want to do something. There's a lot I have to see. We haven't decided on how long it's going to be, and I kind of want to get to go as long as I can without getting in trouble. So we'll see what happens. There's a lot of questions.
There's some really interesting
so many
questions that are not going to be appropriate for this audience.
Exactly. That's why I said I'll have to do part of it, or I'll edit the version down for the Disney audience. Yeah. But yeah, wild.
Okay, so now when I get done, I'm gonna email Neil Patrick Harris. I'm sure he'll
that
want
already.
I
already did it, Eric. You can't double up.
Yeah, you already got him coming on, don't you? He's going to party with Pete.
I'm working on it. We'll see what happens. He did reply, so he follows WDWNT on Twitter. I'm not sure if I ever told this story. So we're in the parks.
Wait, who are you talking about?
Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh, you're being serious?
Someone has a picture of him wearing like a WDWNT
t-shirt. I'm being dead serious. Yeah, I don't joke around about these things. So he follows WDWNT on Twitter, and like a year and a half or 2 years ago, we're all in the parks, and he was doing. I think it was Wreck the Holes event. So he was reading that night for the Candlelight Processional. So I saw his husband. So like I wonder if he was with the kids. So like, and they had like I think like a nanny or someone else there, someone in the family. So there was a moment, because I don't like approaching people when they're with their kids. It's just like, as big of a fan as I am, like I won't go do that. But there was a moment where like the kids ran off to do something. So I went up and I was like, hey, my name's Pete. Just want to say I'm a fan. You know, hi, how are you? Whatever. Super nice, super cool. So I forgot what it was, but we tweeted something about Rex the Holes, and NPH either liked it or commented on it. And Tom was like, "Oh shit! Like, look at this!" And I'm walking with Tom, and he shows me the Twitter account, and he's like,
wow.
"What are we doing?" I'm like, "Give me your phone." And I'm like, I'm replying back, and like we literally like went back, and he answered us. So we had like a little private message. So yeah, when I started doing this Party with Pete thing, I reached out. I haven't heard back yet. I just did it. I want to say like, was it Wednesday or Thursday? I reached out, but
he might be waiting on
my list.
He might be waiting on a better offer from me. You know, I'll give him 42.
Listen, I will say,
you're only going to give him 30 minutes. I'll give him 32.
You know, I mean, I hit up people who I know will not, or, you know, not that I know will not, you never know because everyone's like busy, but I don't even want to tell you like how long and far I've stretched. Not that I've said that a lot. I want to say I've only invited like 20 people, but like some of them were like, so like I contacted Chris Pratt. Like, why not? He's got a movie coming out. Yeah. He's got Onward. Yeah. Like, why not? Yes. Haven't heard back, obviously, but I'm just being like, there's only been like 20, 25 people, but I would say I'm hitting at least like half get back to me. And again, I'm trying to keep it with Disney parks. Like, you know, the Piano Rob I thought was a lot of fun.
I'm going to make a list of people that if by any chance you guys we have to do like a crossover. It can be locked in with the Party Den.
Yes, yeah, I like it. Locked in the Party Den.
With our special guest, Maria, interviewing Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh, no. If Maria gets to do this, no. I'm going to talk to Tom. Maria cannot.
I was going to say, like, what if you get, like, John Lasseter's like, oh, I'll talk with Eric Wolf, but it has to be only as Maria. You have to do the whole interview only as Maria.
I'll talk to Maria, so we'll work on something.
So I had on the schedule that we were going to talk about some cast member costumes. Cool. And only because there's some good ones and there's some bad ones. There's some that have been modified throughout the years that are better than they used to be. I have a theory, and this might be a hot take. I don't know. We have kind of established that the Disney experience, there's a theory out there that while Disney has added more and more stuff, maybe the value and guest experience has gone down over the years a little bit slightly, or that maybe people don't like to hear that. But some of the stuff that I've seen in terms of a slightly diminished guest experience for more money coincides with when the cast members started just taking their costumes home and washing them themselves and wearing them, to Chick-fil-A or wherever, where if you were a cast member back in the day, you showed up and they had a fresh costume for you from costuming, and you would suit up in your whatever you were wearing that day and go out, and you always knew it was going to be fresh and clean. You weren't going to see cast members at 7-Eleven buying a pack of smokes in their in their Haunted Mansion host garb. So anyway, that's kind of just an aside that you can either agree with me or disagree. I might be wrong, I don't know, but I want to talk about some of the cast member costumes where they hit a home run, and some of them where they weren't the best look. I want to start with you, Pete. What do you think? You can respond to what I said first, and then talk about costumes.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do. Is that I agree with you. Is that so? It's like an 80-20 for me. I will agree with you 80% of the way. I think it does take some of that allure or some of that provenance away when they just walk out of there and just go, like, especially if you live locally, like you'll see like 20 people in Taco Bell all in different cast member costumes. So you're like, oh, that's transportation. Oh, that's Canada. Oh, that's Fantasyland. And so I don't like 80% of that. Like I think it's cooler when you get to work and that costume is off the rack and you have to become, it's kind of like when you're walking from backstage to on stage where it's like, hey, you're about to enter on stage, smile, be ready to go. You are a cast member for Walt Disney World.
Right.
But there's 20% of me where it's like, oh, now at least I get to recognize who these, and this is just as a local, like I get to know who cast members are because like I really do love cast members. So like I like to go up to them and be like, hey, like where do you work? Oh, that's so cool. Like thanks so much for doing everything for us. I love stuff like that. And I've had long conversations. Like I saw there was a guy on the side of the road with a flat tire. So like I wasn't in a big rush that day, so I pulled over and was like, hey, is there anything I can help you with? Do you need me to call anyone or anything else? And he didn't have anyone because it was his last day. He was going back to Italy, but he was the bartender at Tutto Gusto and worked at Via Napoli for the last 3 years. And then his flat also had a hole in it. So I put it in my car. He got in my car with me. We drove to Walmart together. We got his tire inflated. I drove him back to his car, and it was, so we hung out for like an hour. But it was cool, and that was a cool experience. I just love talking to cast members. So like, he wasn't in his costume that day, but seeing them around town in their outfits, like, I hate it 80% like you, or hate's a strong word, but like, it's not the best. But it's also kind of cool because I love kind of picking out who cast members are, or like even in my development, like sometimes I'll see someone getting out of their car and walking upstairs. And I'm like, oh, they work at Disney World. I wonder where. I want to talk to them. I wonder if I can meet them there. Like, I get excited. I'm like a little kid. To me, like, you are a local celebrity if you work at Disney. And it's funny because, you're making $15 an hour. You're working long hours. You're probably miserable by the end of the day. But I have such an appreciation for the magic they make. If I could tell a quick story, and then I'll be done. It's like last night we were watching something on TV. What was it? Oh, I was finishing because I've skipped over One Day at Disney, and I've only done a few of them. So I went back to make sure I've watched them all to this point. And it was the woman who was the actress at Finding Nemo, the musical, at Animal Kingdom Theater in the Wild. And she plays Dory. And she was saying that when she was a kid, her mother had like a form of terminal cancer and was sitting in a wheelchair watching Spectre Magic. And she said a cast member in a butterfly costume came over at night and put her hand on her mother's shoulder or knee or whatever. And she said she's never seen her mother, like, a smile came over her and she like literally transformed. She became a kid again. And like, she started to cry. Her mother, I guess, cried afterwards or whatever it is. But the whole beauty of that entire story for me is that cast member who now 20 years later is whatever form of their life, they moved on, maybe they still work for the Disney company, or now they're just, a mother with their own children somewhere in the Midwest because they were here for a college program or whatever it is. But you have no idea the impact you have as a Disney cast member. And I think that's the beauty of being a cast member, is that this person who 20 years from now has no idea that she did something to affect this woman who had a terminal illness, which in turn had an effect on the daughter who watched that happen. And now that daughter said, I have to go work for Disney now, and is now one of the most amazing performers, singing, puppeteering, doing flips on stage for the Finding Nemo musical, playing one of the title characters of Dory. And that came from a butterfly cast member at Spectre Magic 20 years ago. Like, so, and I have chills. Like, I don't know, literally I have chills even saying it. Like, so that to me is the beauty of Disney and the beauty of being a cast member. So that's, but I went way off track.
I saw that one. I have a friend whose sister was a performer that occasionally played Dory at the Animal Kingdom, and when I saw it, I was like, oh no, that's not her. But it's interesting. But that's a really cool role, by the way. That's a cool story to be able to tell people that you do that. I was just going to say, as we've discussed, I was in the Marine Corps for 6 years. We had a regulation at the time. I don't know how it is now. Our regulation at the time was certain uniforms you could wear out and about. They would be like a service uniform. So something with like a tucked in shirt with a collar, when you see like a khaki shirt tucked in, like those uniforms, you could wear them kind of wherever you wanted. But when it comes to your like camouflage utility uniform, which is what we wore day in, day out, you were not to wear that anywhere off base. You weren't supposed to go out to the restaurant and wear that. You weren't supposed to, it may be different with the deployment tempo that we've had where people would wear it in the airport. I know the Army, they wear camouflage wherever they want to go. In the Marine Corps, they demanded that you had a certain level of professionalism that was, you didn't wear that uniform out in town unless you, there were like three, you could be like at the bank, getting gas, or picking up your kid from daycare or something. And otherwise you did not wear that camouflage utility uniform out in town at all. And there's just that certain level of professionalism that I think is enhanced when you don't see people wearing a cast member uniforms out around town. It's just my opinion. Maybe I'm old school. I don't know. I like to keep that illusion, and I like to not wonder if the cast member washed their uniform or washed their costume with some stuff that made it dull or gray or made it slightly look a little different than the other costume. So
although I will say, I feel like the costumes are probably cleaner, and I don't want to knock Disney, but I do feel like cast members smell a little bit better since they started washing their own at night. Like, because I remember specific memories of like 10 years ago plus of some cast members being like, they need to wash this costume. Sweet sassy molasses.
Yeah, it's possible, but I figure they have that professional dry cleaning stuff where they could keep it nice and clean and pressed. I don't know. One thing I want to touch on though is like, if I were going to be working in the parks, there's a few costumes that I think are the best ones, and now Galaxy's Edge I think has great ones. They look comfortable. Yes. They look kind of hip. They look, they might be hot. I don't know, but they look kind of cool. I think as far as costumes go, if you're going to do something futuristic or sci-fi, that's way better than the Tomorrowland costumes, wouldn't you say? Galaxy's Edge?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I was going to say, and I totally, because I tell a long story, so I'm long-winded, and I go off on tangents, and I have ADD, and I like it. But I was going to give them credit because like we were going away from cool costumes. I feel like they were being kind of very generic. Like, like the new costumes for the entrance of Hollywood Studios, I felt like that was just like very blah. But now the new Mickey Runaway Railway, the costumes inside of the cast members loading you on and off the ride vehicles, those costumes are awesome. I love those costumes. Apparently, they're also reversible.
Yeah, they're reversible.
So like you have an awesome costume. It it has form, it has function, and it's reversible. Like, come on. So I'm a big fan of those. Sorry. Go ahead, guys.
Yeah, they're great. The other thing I've noticed is the watercraft guys and gals that are driving the watercraft. They wear these white shirts, but they're now that like fishing material, that really lightweight, like when you buy a Columbia fishing shirt or something like that with a vented back, and it looks comfortable and nice. I could see cruising around. There's worse ways to spend your life than cruising around on a boat wearing a comfortable shirt and tennis shoes and sunglasses all day. Yeah,
that's what I said too. I talked to one of them. I talked to this guy in a boat. Me, I'm going to go talk to anybody. But he was, and I go, oh, like, have you been here a while? He's like, no, just the last year I've been working for Disney. I'm like, oh, that's great. I'm like, you like it? He's like, my job is to cruise around the Seven Seas Lagoon. He goes, I get sunrises and sunsets. Everyone's in a good mood. I take people to the Magic Kingdom or these beautiful resorts. The water's always calm. The weather's always beautiful. It's a dream job. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, so do you have to have a lot of boating experience before you got this job? He goes, I never stepped foot on a boat before a year ago. He goes, I just said I could help out. I'm a retired cop from the city. I'm like, oh, that's cool. We talked about that too. But he's like, I just thought this was a nice job. So they asked if I had any interest in the boating world. And I was like, sure. And they gave me the job. But that's a dream job.
You give me a boat and a microphone and I'll be happy. So if you want to put me on a jungle cruise, a boat and a microphone. That's all I need. You'd be perfect for that, honestly. Pete. People would ask you to actually not pull up to the dock. Can you do a circle around and tell us another story, Pete?
Two more reps.
Anything stick out for you, Eric?
Well, actually, it's funny. Darren in the chat just said it. The Halloween party costumes are just one of my favorites. They're so colorful. They just you think about them and you're in that Halloween mood. So yeah, I love those. And it's funny, I used to work at Universal in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. And we were not allowed to take our costumes. But I think it was a great choice. Because being a wizard, you have like pants and a shirt and a vest and a hat and sometimes a robe and spats sometimes, and so there was a lot of like things in our outfits, in our costumes, and it was just great to be able to come in every morning, just pick something fresh that was clean, that was ready for us. Yeah, just get ready, get dressed in that, get in that mindset of, like I'm a wizard, walk in there. Because, it's not magical if you're driving, personally for me, you're driving as a wizard, like in your car. Mm-hmm. Like that's not magical.
Wizard, why are you driving a Ford Focus?
Say that again, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you.
The guy over there in a Ford Focus, he's a wizard. Why isn't he like flying in a 57 Chevy convertible or something like that?
Yeah, exactly. So it was just great to be able to just pick my clothes, get in that mindset, bam, we're ready. And then after that, take it off. Not a wizard. I'm a muggle now, so yeah, but I agree that, like, I don't know, like those costumes that people can take home, you always kind of notice that they're just not that bright. They're not, they're kind of worn down. Even though, like, I used to work at Disney as well, you can exchange them if they're ever in that state, kind of thing. But to get to costuming is, sometimes a pain, and people just don't, So I honestly like the whole can't take it home. You guys got to get dressed here. And
where'd you work for Disney?
I used to be a children's activities at All Stars, actually.
Like the fun pool stuff and like the movies.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I did that for just a little bit. Mm-hmm. I was juggling that in Universal.
I think maybe they don't want to pay those people the extra 15 minutes or whatever it takes to get there and get them a costume and have them go get dressed and make the walk to where they're going. I think it's a financial decision. I don't think that they thought, you know what will make it. You know what, they'll make this a better guest experience. I don't think that was considered. I think what was considered was, hey, these people we're paying them for an extra 15, 20 minutes or however long it is to get their costume on. We're paying all the people to launder them and press them. Instead, let's put all the onus on the cast member. By the way, some of these people sleep in their cars in between their shifts, to have a nice, clean.
It really is insane. Like, I know someone, a cast member that lives an hour away, and they have to get up an hour before that to get ready. Then they drive the hour. Then they have to park at the cast member area. They don't clock in yet. Then they have to take a bus to their post, then go through the utilidors, then clock in. So they've already have been trying to get to work essentially for 2.5 hours that they get unpaid for. Clock in, they work their shift making, and again, I don't mean this in an insulting way. I mean, they deserve so much more money, but next to nothing, not enough to survive, in my opinion. And then they clock out and they have to go through that other 2.5 hour process to go home. So if you're working an 8-hour shift, that now becomes 13 hours of your day. And that's if you have, what about your kids, your loved ones, your partner? It's insane. It's completely wild.
Yeah. If you're a college kid, you're 19 years old, you're living in a 4-bedroom apartment with 7 other people, you're in the Disney college program, you probably never learned to operate an iron in your life. You probably don't know how to run a washing machine. And you're responsible for going into this environment where everyone wants to party and have a good time, but you're expected somehow to maintain that uniform too. I mean, you're going to get some inconsistency there. I'm sorry. When I was 19 years old, who knows what I would have shown up in?
I was responsible as a 19-year-old, so I would.
I know, we know.
I would have been a maniac outside of work. I probably would have had to call in. I would have ran out of sick days in the first 3 months, but at work.
Pete is the only college program person ever to not work a shift.
I was the guy in my fraternity house. That would tie everyone's tie, iron the clothes. I'm a neat freak. I know it's strange, but yeah.
Yeah, and Mandy made another good point in the chat. She's like, you got to pay a lot of money to do your laundry if you're a CP. So if you come down here as a CP, I'm sorry. I know people have amazing memories of CPs. They're great life experiences for these people, but you're treated as a mark. I mean, you're getting gouged. They're taking your rent money out of your check you're sharing these apartments with 7 people.
Disney,
you're probably getting charged $500 a month. And then you're paying,
I get it. Even
$5 to wash your uniform.
But Eric, there's a waiting list. So if you are a publicly traded company, you have a fiduciary responsibility to make a return for your stockholders and to turn a profit. If there is a waiting list of people who want to work for you for $14 an hour, you don't have to raise your pay. There's a waiting list of people who are willing to do it.
They're not paying CPs $14 an hour. But my brother was a CP for multiple years. Lee was a CP. She did it for a couple different rotations. I mean, I know, and some of these people, some of the best experiences of their lives were as CPs. But let's not pretend they're not being taken advantage of, because from a financial standpoint, what a great idea if you're Disney. You get these people who are great cast members. They're excited and enthusiastic. What's that?
Look at our actual college system around America. You don't think they're taking advantage of us? These colleges are making millions, if not billions of dollars, charging us whatever it is, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 for an education that they could charge $5,000 for. So like you're being taken advantage of everywhere. And you go to college, I mean, granted for an education, but it's a lot of the time you go for an experience when you're in your 20s. Like I had just as much fun as I had learned something in college. So it's the same thing. You're going for the experience. You get to live on Disney property. You get to know who's friends with Mickey Mouse. You get to meet so-and-so in a housing thing. Yeah. You might not have gotten to live in dorms when you were in college. You could live in dorms here. I mean, so it's you kind of, and you know what you're getting into, but there's a list. They totally take advantage of them, but also you're signing up for that. So I'm on both sides here. And again, I totally think cast members deserve more money, but what are you supposed to do when there's a waiting list?
More money. I'm just saying maybe we could wash their uniforms for them. Wash their costumes.
I agree, but again, if they're willing to wash their own uniforms and they're not going to complain about it, why not? You're right. It probably saves Disney millions of dollars a year in laundry fees, the person to do the laundry, the 15 minutes per cast member, and there's 70,000 cast members. You know, like you do the math, it's probably millions that they're saving.
Yeah, who knows? You know, we know that this decision was not made with the guest experience being considered or the convenience for the cast members. It was just simply a financial decision. There's no doubt about it. Hey, look, in addition to being a critic of Disney at times, I'm also a shareholder. So and I'm a fan. So sometimes I see both sides of this, right? They have definitely returned great value to shareholders. I know when I first bought my Disney stock in 2010, it was like $31 a share, and it's been as high as I think $150 a share this year. There's no doubt about it that Bob Chapek, every decision he's made has made sense for a shareholder, has returned value to shareholders, and then most of those decisions have also diminished the guest experience. So while they've done some great things, there's
I think you can do both. That's why I'm not a fan of him per se, is that I feel like you can still get a return for shareholders without diminishing their experience, and that's what hurts me. Is it's just the little things, and it's little things that don't take much. Yeah, and I understand like if you do a lot of little things right, it adds up to big things, and he probably does save a lot of money here. But like, there's a countless list, but one that always pops in my head is like just not finishing the back of Galaxy's Edge. Now, granted, that's the dumbest thing ever, but it would have cost Disney maybe like $25,000 to $50,000 to finish, or at least put like the chicken tenders continue all the way to the roof and not just float on steam. Yeah. Because it's on the corner of two major roads that Disney buses go up and down all the time, and it ruins the magic for families.
Yeah, but I think they did that on purpose to kind of create the illusion that you're still in a studio, because before you used to be able to walk up and down the streets of America and you could see like, oh look, it's just a flat. You know, it was a thing. It was like almost a gag, letting you behind the scenes see what it's like to make movies. That's the only thing we have left. You know,
that was cool back then. Yeah, that was the thing back then, and that's what I liked about MGM back then. The fact that Hollywood Studios is getting so far beyond the behind the scenes, because everyone has internet, everyone has YouTube, everyone has all that. There's the behind the scenes kind of thing isn't a thing anymore, which is funny how Disney is now doing these like series on Disney Plus that it's like, oh, let's go behind the scenes of all these things and kind of thing. Because I feel like the company as a whole has just gotten away from that, unless you're a D23 member. And like, the park is going completely in a whole nother direction of forget the fact that you're on, you're going to be like seeing how things are done. No, now you're in it. Now you're, forget about that, like that thing. You're engrossed in this. You're surrounded by it. So I don't know. I think not finishing the backs as much as silly as it sounds, I agree with Pete. Like they could have just finished it.
Why does that
from the side of the road? It just looks weird.
It does look crappy. I have a friend, and I don't know if he's watching today, Jason. He may be joining us soon on a future episode. But he used to be a Disney podcaster and cast member, and he was a cast member on the Backlot Tour. And I remember the cool part of the Backlot Tour is, hey, you go past all these houses, hey, look, they're fake, So I just think that may be what they're going for. I'm not saying it's right. I think they may be going for that. You can see from the back that Galaxy's Edge is all fake, right? You can see from the back. I don't know. They could have wanted to save $50,000 or whatever it would cost. I don't know how much it costs to finish that stuff. Maybe it's super expensive.
Literally, you could have just dropped.
I know they just spent $200,000 on. They just spent $200,000 like on the entrance to Frontierland at Disneyland. So maybe it's really expensive to do that stuff at Disney. I don't know.
It's just, I mean, you can't do it now, but like in the time that you were doing it, it's literally the painter's already there. Just spray it gray, drop a tarp. Do something. I mean, like, and again, like, it's just me, but like, kids drive past this all day long at Disney, and they go, "What's that?" And they go, "That's Star Wars Land." And they're like, "What? Like, what? Like, is this Pandora?" There's just stick figures coming up, chicken tenders.
Yeah, the fact that it's right next to like the main to World Drive, makes it a little. It makes it a bad look. Everyone that goes to Disney World comes up World Drive, I think. I don't know. And if you're going to the Magic Kingdom, you're coming up World Drive. And to see these, like, they look like half-eaten popsicles on a stick. Like, what is that? They're like, oh, that's Galaxy's Edge. That's the multi-billion-dollar land that they built out. Yeah. What do you know? That's
they spent billions of dollars on that. But why didn't they we could see that it. Oh, okay. Like, and now, they're doing it again with Ratatouille, and I'm pissed about it. That, like, there's this beautiful, no matter where you look, and they put all this time and energy in the World Showcase, that no matter where you stand, every country kind of looks beautiful one way or the other. You don't see backstage, even though it's like in the round. And now with the new Ratatouille Pavilion, France Pavilion Ratatouille ride, the flat side for when you turn the corner and you're looking at the new front of the ride, but really it would be the side view if you were looking at France. You see the the stanchions holding up the facades because they did a step facade. So now if you take that beautiful picture when you come over the bridge walking into France from the UK, you see these poles in the background. It's like they put so much time and energy. If I was an Imagineer who put all this time and energy into this in the late 70s, early 80s, I would be up there with a baseball bat knocking these things down. I would be furious. So I don't know.
Yeah, and Mandy is touching in the chat is touching on a point that I have considered is now they have transportation systems that show the backstage. So we have the Skyliner. I love the Skyliner. It's a great way to get around. It's fun, whatever. But I would have liked them to camouflage some of the backstage areas from the Skyliner and maybe dress up some of the terrain that you traverse on the Skyliner. I mean, it's pretty cool for the most part, but you as you're coming into International Gateway on the Skyliner, you see way too much backstage of Epcot. Either they could overcome that with vegetation or tarps or dressing up backstage or some painted flats. I don't really know. And I wouldn't mind seeing some landscaping along the route of the Skyliner too one day. I know that Disney's never going to do that, but it'd be kind of cool. I mean, they could, the Skyliner could become actually almost an attraction, where you could see, man, put something cool. You take the Disneyland or Disney World Railroad, and they have little scenes set up for you to look at. Why not do that from the Skyliner? You're sitting in the Skyliner, captive audience. I think it's an opportunity for them to do something that probably wouldn't be that expensive, that might really add to the guest experience. It might increase the load on the Skyliner, which would concern them, but it might be something kind of cool, or something you could do, even seasonal little scenes along the Skyliner where you could look down and see different stuff. I don't know. Right now, you take the Skyliner from the studios to.
No, this is what they should be doing, right? See, everyone's looking over here, but no one's noticing the hamburger in the other hand that's down here. Is that put something exciting where you want everyone to look? Look over here, and then this is their construction. This is what should be going on at Disney. Is that you should be distracting on that? Like, if this is backstage area you don't want people to look at, put something shiny over here to distract them from it. Even if you don't have the money to cover this up with trees or tarp, give me something shiny over here. And it's not that expensive.
Yeah, and
they could even because of the narration comes on every 5 friggin' seconds.
They could even do something, and I'm going way off the rails here. They could do something not a nighttime spectacular, but you go into the Seven Seas Lagoon as you're leaving the parks, and they have the water parade, the electric water parade, with the sea monster and all. And they could do something like that. You're leaving Epcot, you're going back to your hotel. Hey, look at this. There's something lit, lights up or is shiny next to the Skyliner while I'm riding.
Think about what are they doing with those giant screens from the Star Wars show that just ended at Hollywood Studios. Those are indoor, outdoor, weatherproof, giant screens that you can put anything on. It's a giant TV screen, an announcement, a board.
Loves nothing more than a big screen to project.
A screen, but why not put those screens? Even if you put those screens on the back of, say, the France Pavilion, and you put like you're entering Epcot, or they put advertisements from Disney Plus, or put anything, you're gonna watch that screen instead of everything else going on around the screen and behind you or in front of you.
I don't want to see a pallet of beer kegs behind one of the pavilions.
Yes, exactly.
And a delivery
I don't
truck
want to see someone
bringing in.
I don't want to see someone having a smoke break.
Truck making deliveries to France. I don't want to know that France is getting their food from Cisco, right? I don't want to see that.
Yeah,
I know it happens.
Exactly.
I don't want to. It's like a sausage factory. You don't want to see how it's made. I don't want to see how it's made from the Skyliner. I want to see the magic for myself. You know what I mean? Like they have an opportunity to not only camouflage that, but an opportunity to provide something that would enhance the guest experience. And I don't know why they don't do it. Maybe they'll do it in the future. I don't make these decisions.
They never would have opened a park
Disney to make that call.
No, but they never would have opened a transportation system or a park back in the day if you had those. What's the word I'm looking for? But like if you had those views of backstage things happening, or at least spend like $150,000 or whatever it is, put pavilions over it. I mean, you provide shade for the cast members. You don't see what's going on underneath, and just make all of them 14 feet high, and that way all the trucks. Cast members, everything that's going on underneath, you don't see underneath. Now you see backstage, but you don't see the cast member on a smoke break. You don't see the food coming in and out. You don't see someone taking a nap. You don't see. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to see. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to see Jasmine vaping. That's hilarious.
If you don't mind, I'm actually going to write this down.
Jasmine, I wasn't singling you out. That was just.
No, you know what? I am singling you out, Jasmine. Cut out the vaping. Stop the madness.
I don't want to see Belle drinking a White Claw as she walks in.
Now you've gone too far. That's something I would pay to see.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there not an opportunity there to do something with the Skyliner, make it cool? I mean, as much as I actually really like when you're going over the Caribbean beach. That's really cool.
That's beautiful.
It's probably the scariest part too.
You're
up there, you're like, wow, I'm really high into here. You're really up here. Yeah, but I mean that whole stretch,
the highest point. Yeah.
But that whole stretch when you're like between the studio's parking lot and the main station at Caribbean Beach, there, do something there, and for sure do something by the International Gateway. It just looks like, I don't know, it ruins the magic a little bit. Disney knows this. You don't show people what's behind the magic. You make them pay for a tour of what's behind the magic.
Exactly.
Maybe one day. I don't know. Right now Disney has a lot bigger problems than this. This is not.
It's probably too expensive to have like a robotic arm that just comes and shields one side of the Skyliner for moments, then comes back up. Like you can't see out this side. All right, you can see. Yeah.
I don't know. They could have done something. Obviously, I'm sure we're not the first people to think of this. I'm sure somebody in Imagineering or somewhere else was like, maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should, and they're like, plant some trees in 20 years, it'll look fine. Maybe that's the answer, right? The trees will grow in one day, maybe.
It's funny because like this is like the most prosperous the company's been, and that's also the time where and it's great. We're getting a ton of new attractions very quickly in this span of 2019 to 2022. But just finish the job. Like it's like bringing the ball to the 95-yard line and just that's it. Like just finish it up.
Yeah. I thought of a great idea too one time. It's like we were talking about like adding Top Golf. You know what Disney should do? A Cars themed drive-in theater. I realize a lot of the people that are here on vacations would not go to a drive-in theater because they don't.
Oh, that's coming.
So
that's coming.
They could give them a car to sit in, an empty car to sit in, like you do at the Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater. But we need a real.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said it's coming. You don't think in 15 years when people have no idea what a drive-in movie theater is or was or why it is, you don't think they're going to give that an overlay for Cars, and you're going to be watching like Disney shorts in a Cars themed drive-in movie theater. That's I call that. I forgot where I was said this to or who I said it to, but I said like the sci-fi drive-in, and I think Tom was wrong because he like yelled at me about it. He's like, "How dare you?" And I'm like, "Watch, I guarantee in like the next 10, 15, maybe 20 years, but the sci-fi drive-in will be the Cars movie IP."
I want a real drive-in theater as a local. Like, look, I'm a local. I realize some people won't have cars to drive in, but they have a bus drop them off somewhere, and they can sit in a fake car and watch a movie outdoors or in a. I don't know. I think that'd be cool.
No, it's funny that you. Okay. It's funny that you brought that up.
Butter gets a treat. That's what Mandy said. I'll make sure to do that. I don't know where she is right now. Go ahead, Eric.
Oh man, Pete. But yeah, no, it's funny that you brought that up because I forgot what we were talking about, and there was I think before Cars Land, it was supposed to be Car Land, and they were doing a bunch of like car themed things, and I think there is a concept art. I'm gonna have to look now, but I think there was a concept art of some type of drive-in movie theater looking area, and I have that written down as one of the prompts for the Wolf Den. And actually, talking about that, if you don't mind, I'm gonna take this conversation that we just had about the Skyliner, and I'm gonna write that down as well, so we can possibly just think stuff up on the Wolf Den.
Yeah, little maquettes for the side of the Skyliner, or Lee's bringing Butters over here so I can give her a treat because I owe her one. I don't know what happened. Did Butters set some new rules that I don't know about? You can just put her here.
I touched my face. That's why I went and got a refill. You know what? You talked about the train, like with the little scenes. I always thought forever that the train needs more scenes, or those got to be punched up a little bit.
Hold on, we're gonna do the treat for Butters. Lee's gonna. There you go. There's your treat, Butters.
Oh, little
good girl.
Oh,
I'm gonna ask what kind of treats they were. I don't know what they were. She'll eat anything. I don't know. We can probably. It's a ball of yarn that's been soaked in sardine oil. I think. Hey,
Butters.
No.
Butters.
Pete has a burger and a hot dog. Oh. Yeah. Eventually one day. Butters, this show is just going to be Butter. It was going to be the map game for 3 hours, but I think it's just going to be Butters for 3 hours. Hey, Butters, look at the camera. Nobody wants to see her.
It's like it's like if you call in sick, you just put a camera on Butters the entire time.
Why not? Right? I mean, it seems like a great idea.
It's like, no, I'm Eric. I'm here.
I know we're over, but I'm like inspired by this conversation of things that we could have them do, because I had mentioned this before. But long before Galaxy's Edge was announced, we had talked about like, oh, you get rid of the Indiana Jones and Spectacular and you put something there. But I always wanted a kids playground like the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids playground used to be in the studios. But I wanted to do an indoor playground that's up in the treetops, like above Star Tours, like where there's little areas connected by like rope bridges for kids. I think that would be really cool. So if you're an Imagineer, why don't you do that idea? It's free. Don't worry about it. I got you. So that would be another cool thing I'd like to see added, some kind of playground or something like that. Because I thought that Honey, I Shrunk the Kids playground was cool, but I was too old to play on it. There you go. She's gonna go.
Yeah. I'll just put. Eric, are you busy on Wednesday mornings?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm still essential personnel, so you'll find me all over town on Wednesday. Unfortunately, I did finally get a homemade Lee made a homemade mask for me that's made out of a T-shirt. I'm sure it's really going to protect me and others.
Lauren made me a homemade mask out of leggings.
Really? Leggings?
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, because apparently they have 2 layers, which is good, and they're stretched, so you can like stretch them around your face, and they stay pretty tight around your nose.
Layers. You should do a PSA for some of the people that I've seen walking around Walt Disney World that you can wear leggings that have 2 layers, and you don't have to wear tights where we can see through them. I don't know. Is that inappropriate for this? I think we're.
Oh my gosh! Actually, I'll be right back. I'm gonna get my mask too then.
Yeah, let me find mine.
Wait, somebody needs to be on. Okay, Pete's here.
Hold on.
Yeah. Oh, same color. Mine are not like. Mine's just a T-shirt. Mine. I don't know how to do it. Hold on. I'm not big on this. There we go. I wore this thing the other day, and let me tell you, it is hot. It is hot. Oh, I got to put it over my nose, I think. I don't know. Yours looks better. Yours looks more comfortable.
Well, they're very comfortable, but they weren't hard to make either because it's a pair of leggings, and then she just cut slits for the ears.
I feel like Mortal.
Boom, boom.
Get over here!
But it's a pair of leggings.
Yeah.
Finish him.
Not the worst. Finish him. Yeah, Eric's getting his. We're showing off our masks. If you have masks on.
I wanted her to cut up like one of the cooler pairs of leggings. I have my friend just showed me the best mask. I know this is probably not Disney appropriate, but it's a part of the human body. It has a bunch of tiny penises on it. And she said that every time someone gets too close.
That's clinical. That's clinical.
But she said every time someone comes up and says like, is that a penis? She goes, if you can see what's on my mask, you're too close. Get away.
Yeah. Yeah, back up.
What just happened?
Yeah, so I think we should think about that for next week of things that we want to just like add to Plus the Parks. There you go, Eric. Eric's looks kind of like he looks kind of like George Clooney in ER.
You do ER. Yeah.
My roommate's sister.
Oh, I have dog toys.
Thank you,
Mandy. I have dog toys because the Lauren. So we're turning this room during this quarantine into like a studio. That's why I'm moving pictures and stuff around, and I got like a bunch of stuff I have to move around. But if you look over here, there's a map because Lauren, we slide this desk to the right. She teaches kids as a side hustle since this started. Teaches kids in China how to speak English, so she uses a lot of different props and whatnot. So I guess last night she was doing food. So we have a lot of different props, and there's Easter eggs, and there's dolls, and there's frogs, and a bunch of other stuff I moved off the desk. But
yeah. So
this half of the room is my half. That half of the room is her half, and we just slide this desk back and forth.
I think I mentioned this on a previous show. My sister's a teacher as well and has had to do this Zoom stuff. And she lives in like a loft in downtown Kansas City. The problem is she's a high school choir director. So how do you take 60 kids in a choir, get them all on a Zoom conference and like make like harmonious music? Is that really possible? I know like the Dapper Dans did this. That wasn't live.
No, but you have to do that. No, it wasn't live. You have to do that in post because, like, I don't know if you heard me trying to sing along with Yeehaw Bob, but it's on a major delay. So he'd be like, "Come on, Pete, sing along," and I'd be like, "Way off."
Yeah, so the poor kids.
I started singing, I think, the first song, and I was like, "Well, this is really delayed."
Yeah, I watched. I was there. Is this coming across crazy on YouTube or just for me? The video. Maybe it's just me.
The video is better on YouTube. It's slower on my main screen, but it looks cleaner on YouTube.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Because I have something crazy going on. We were supposed to be here until 2. I'll go for a few more minutes if you guys want to, because it seems like we're on a roll. Pete always gets us on a roll. We haven't even touched on half the to talk about. But next week we're definitely going to plus the resort. We're going to do the Skyliner. We're going to do heck, there's nothing to look at. Well, I don't know, they could add some stuff in between the studios and the Swan and Dolphin for us to look at.
Oh yeah, I think it's a good topic. There's a lot of things I could
plus the transportation a little bit. They could clean up, do some landscaping for us to look at on the monorail between Epcot and the Magic and the TTC. There's nothing. I'm looking at traffic on World Drive. I don't know who wants to go on their vacation.
Or give me fun facts. Like they passed the Stollport, the Disney's private airport along that monorail. Like, give me some history. Give me some fun facts.
Yeah. Here's where we store old trucks now. Walt used to land planes here, but we have a Connex box full of Cat 5 cable that we were unable to install at our last resort. Yeah, nobody wants to know
because when we bought abc.go.com, we thought this was going to be the future.
Come on, you guys can't knock it, though. The lady does a really good job when you're going out from Hollywood Studios. She goes, "Poo poo."
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Hello there. this is the Everglades water. It reaches all the way to the Everglades. It's like, no one, boop, boop. It's like, are you kidding me?
On the monorail, you get
every 5 seconds.
Fun fact, but as
of the door. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. And that's kind of it on the way to Epcot, right?
Right.
That's
if you ever listen to the Retro Disney World podcast, which I recommend, even though it's not under the umbrella of WDWNT, they have a great intro where they're like, oh God, I just went blank on his name. Lee's gonna have to tell me the guy's name, but he's like, "You're welcome to the vacation." What's that?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, he's like, welcome. You're at the vacation kingdom of the world, you know, and you get that. Was it Jack Wagner? Who was that? I don't know who it is. Anyway, that'd be great. Yes, Shelley said yes. It's Jack Wagner. Yeah, so that's who doesn't want that? A little bit of extra magic, you know. I don't know. Anyway, maybe we'll do that next week. Any parting thoughts before we go, Eric? Anything you'd like to say?
I like your logo. I will say that. I don't think I said it earlier today.
Thank you, Tyler.
But I love it.
Thank you, Tyler, man. Maybe Kevin will put that.
Yeah, good job, Tyler.
And Pete, any parting thoughts before we go? This is our fourth show of Locked In with Eric Morton, and we still haven't gotten any better at it. But we're still having.
I like it. I always enjoy coming on. So thank you for having me, sir.
Yeah, that's great. Maybe we can combine forces one day, and all of us, when we're not doing 2 live shows a day, we can all combine to do a show that gets that Tom keeps around. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, right.
When everybody's able to places, but I can assure you it wouldn't be on a Saturday morning at 11 when I'm going to be doing other things.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, don't expect Party with Pete to be at 8 a.m. West Coast time once this is over. No way.
Mandy asked for the daily streaming schedule.
Oh yeah,
do we
schedule
have
time.
Schedule time. Look at that. He's on the ball. Oh, we're gonna have. Let's see. Later today, we have Ride Rehab Watches. Who knows what they're watching? It will be something cheesy and entertaining and Corning, and those guys are great. And Ben and Tyler and Thomas, I'm sure it will be.
Thomas Tyler, yeah.
Thomas Tyler. Ben was on it too, wasn't he? Anyway.
Oh yeah, I wasn't sure he was on this week, but I mean, Ride Rehab is Thomas and Tyler.
Yeah, Thomas and Tyler, and then they've had Ben on there recently, doing watch alongs.
Tyler Thomas.
Jonathan Tyler Thomas. Yeah. Sorry. We have an Easter watch along with Colleen tomorrow, and I saw what's on that. I just don't remember what's on it, but they're going to do an Easter watch along. We're watching Easter, so you'll just if you find an egg, you can keep it. And then tomorrow night is Pressing Issues, which is a long form discussion. That is led by Jason Diffendahl, I believe. Last week they went pretty in depth about things like they were pretty critical of how Disney handled the annual pass holder payment plan and the annual pass holder information in general. I had pitched for News Tonight that we do like a flow chart of what to do if you're an annual pass holder, but it's too confusing to put in a flow chart. Nobody knows. If you're an annual pass holder, you can stop your payments. They might stop automatically if you don't stop. If you don't do this and you don't do that, and they might continue and they might charge you, or you might pick up again. Who knows? Anyway, if you're an annual pass holder like me, try to Google that and make sense of it. We have the Pixar Animation Countdown on Monday at 11 a.m. Eric's going to be on there. That's going to be great. Then Cosmic Read Live Monday night. My screen is so fuzzy. I can't 8 or 9. I know I didn't drink that many Coronas on this show. Does that say 8 or 9? My screen is like oscillating.
That says 9 o'clock for Cosmic Read.
9 p.m. on Monday, Cosmic Read Live. Tuesday, we have Cooking with Nick. Who knows what Nick is going to come up with? I'm sure we'll let you know ahead of time.
Oh, it's Cooking with Nick this week.
Yeah, that's what it says. That is what it says. So Cooking with Nick. You're going to cook the map game. Or maybe you'll cook and play the map game. by the way, Thursday will be the last iteration ever of the math game. Apparently, Tom is eliminating all the games that start with M. So map game, we'll have the math game. I suggested that maybe the map game going away is kind of like a Kiss farewell concert where we'll see it 7 more times. I don't really know. And then it's a small.
We should bring it back. We should bring it back for the marathon show because it could take up like a solid 4 hours.
Yeah,
that's true.
Marathon show. That's true. We'll just do one. No, we'll do one giant map game. It will be the entire marathon show. We're going to have 14,000 squares. 7 p.m. on Tuesday, we'll have the It's a Small World panel. I'll be discussion, I assume, about all the different versions of It's a Small World throughout the world.
No. It's actually not that. It's a small world. It's a parent panel. We're gonna have a bunch of our people that are parents.
All parents. First of all, you both are missaying it. There's an apostrophe S. It's a Smalls World, as in children. It's a Smalls World.
Oh, yes.
I thought that was like a VH1 behind the music on Biggie Small.
No, it's a Smalls World. Okay. No, it's a parent panel. So we have a lot of parents on our staff. And we don't do anything for parents on our programming. So we said, hey, let's give this a shot. I believe Whitney is kicking it off. She has a bunch of other parents as well. And it's, so if you are a parent at Walt Disney World, or you're thinking about becoming a parent at Walt Disney World, or you want to just figure out why you don't want to be a parent at Walt Disney World.
Or maybe you'd like to conceive a child at Walt Disney World. We got you covered.
Oh, that's the spot. Yeah. So, and if you're going to do it, Small World is the place to do it because they set the mood quite well. But it's a Smalls World. It's a Smalls
Love
World.
in any language.
There we go.
Yeah, so we have all kinds of stuff we're doing for you guys. I've encouraged everyone on the past 2 episodes, if you have an idea or something you'd like us to cover, feel free to email me throughout the week at ericm@WDWNT.com. So far in the last 2 weeks, I've gotten 0 emails. So I know that things are really going well. And, having a fake Butters take over the show is more what people want. Butters, let's face it, she's become the star of this show. So I'm happy that you guys like her, because otherwise we'd be like a 5 to 8 minute show. Anything you want to see, Eric M at WDWNT.com. I will be back on News Tonight on Thursday. I know we have the Wolf's Den. Is the Wolf's Den Wednesday?
It's on Wednesday. Yep. Wednesday. At 11 a.m.
Yeah, and Party with Pete Thursday at 11. So you get plenty of Eric, and Pete over the next week. And we love hanging out with you guys. 12, yeah.
But we'll see.
We love hanging out with you guys. We are looking forward, just like anybody else, to the parks opening back up and things going back to something that resembles normal, but who really knows when that's going to be. So thanks for hanging out with us, and we will see you.
I actually got something.
Next Saturday.
Wait. Oh, before we go, I got to announce we have a new contest for WDW News Tonight. Last time we did the homemade pre-shows. Now we're going to be doing homemade nighttime spectaculars. So guys, submit your homemade nighttime spectaculars. We're going to be doing that contest. We got that going on. And it could be any nighttime spectacular. Sparkless, pun intended. And yeah, Kevin just put the link in the chat. So if you guys want to read about that and who's running it and all that sort of stuff, links in the chat. But yes, submit your homemade nighttime spectacular. And now back to Eric Morton.
Thank you very much. We'd like to thank you for joining us. Next week, we may have some surprises. I don't know. I have this, I've kind of wanted to give away a prize lately. So we might give away a prize next week. May not, depends. But that would be cool. I may have a cool guest. Anyway, we want to thank you for joining us this Saturday. We went only 27 minutes over, but unlike News Tonight, we started on time. So give us credit. We gave you almost 3.5 hours of entertainment. And let's face it, nice. We only really had about a half hour worth of material for you. So thanks to you guys for helping me stretch this out. Thanks to Kevin for running things in the background. Thanks to Tyler for our new logo. And thanks to Lee for helping me run the Butters cam. Thanks to Butters, the #1 star of the show.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you very much. We will see you next week on Locked In with Eric Morton.
Bye, guys.
Peace.
Bye.